didn't see nothing.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's just magic smoke. Kids! Kids! Welcome to a Friday night Fat Man Beyond. Hold on, I gotta grab a drink.
The smoking light is on.
What you're talking about. Kids! Jesus, what am I going through puberty? Children. That sounds like an adult.
It's time to change. It's
It
time
really
to
is.
range.
Yo, Range. Did you see fucking Greg Brady was singing with Smashing Pumpkins this week?
I saw that.
Kids, it is Friday night and it's time to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
And I am Marc Bernardin.
Hey!
Ho.
Friday night, kids. When I was a youth, this was everything. Sometimes we go to the teen club, get our dance on because the roof was on fire. Sometimes we'd go see a brand new movie. Let me flip that. Sometimes we go to a high school dance. Sometimes we go see a brand new movie. Should end there so I could segue too. It's brand new movie weekend, kids, and there's a movie at the box office that is just shooting webs all over your face, neck, and chest, breaking all sorts of box office records and whatnot. And yes, we're talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. And me and Marc are going to review it right here on this show. Now, if you're like, I ain't seen it yet, like, I ain't seen it yet, don't worry. First, we're going to do the news for a while. Then we'll let you know when the review's coming, man. But when it's coming all over your face, neck, and chest, kids. Spoilers, I like this movie quite a bit.
Spoilers. I did too.
Oh no! Me and Marc are gonna blah 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 blah. Brand new day. But that'll be a little bit into the show, kids. For now, we're gonna cover some news. We're gonna chit chat. We're gonna catch up. We're gonna recap San Diego.
Yeah, man.
Put up that show, right? Like
we did put up the show, but it's weird because we were at San Diego, but it was Thursday. And so like many things had not happened yet.
You're absolutely right. So we'll do some of that and whatnot. It's Friday night. And if you're watching this show, like me and Marc, your best days are behind you. This is your Friday night. Oh my God. But
yeah, I bet you had yogurt for breakfast if you're home with us on a Friday night.
I bet you're concerned about one good movement and not waking up 4 times in the middle of the night to urinate. No, some of you aren't tuning in because you're out there watching Spider-Man Brand New Day. I mean, think about it. It's 8:30 here in Los Angeles, 11:30 back home, back east on the East Coast. So that means a lot of people are just getting out of their 8:30 show.
Just rolling in.
So, and a lot of cats, believe it or not, and that's hard to believe because look, just before we dive into anything, listen to this piece of fucking good news for the movie business and shit. I had it and it went away. Spider-Man Brand New Day, kids, was a massive opener. Here you go. According to the good folks at Deadline, Spider-Man Brand New Day sets all-time first day high with 167 million plus in the US. Could beat Avengers Endgame 357 million weekend record. So right now, I think it's domestic all-time opening is Avengers Endgame, and they open worldwide to like $1 billion, right? Or $1 billion and change, I think.
I think so. I mean, I think they said the domestic was 300 something.
The
357.
The Thursday night number was massive. All right, let's hold on. It was
70 something.
Yeah, I'll get you a figure right now. It's bigger than anyone was expecting, according to the good kid over at Pop Culture Brand. I like this kid, man. Kid with the glasses and shit. I watch his content all the time. But all day yesterday, Thursday was the preview day, man. Did 72 million in previews, besting Avengers Endgame. So now Avengers Endgame opened to 60 million in previews on Thursday night. Preview night of Brand New Day, 72 million. So that took the all-time record in Thursday night previews. So, it's not maybe a 1-to-1 thing. However, if it opens on preview night better than Avengers Endgame, there's a better than good chance that this motherfucker is going to earn like or better than Avengers Endgame, which would be everything Marvel wants to hear right now.
Absolutely. And it does. I was thinking about that the other day that Endgame had every superhero in it, but Spider-Man was always the thing that Marvel was missing. Spider-Man was their big gun. And the fact that they got him back, and when a Spider-Man movie fucking hits, it hits like no other. It really does.
Spider-Man is the hero of the proletariat, Mark. Is that right? Do I have that right? Who are the people? Plebes. No. Proletariat, the plebes, same thing, or is that different?
I think so. But the working man.
Thank you. Spider-Man is the hero of the working man. We all love Batman. Don't get me wrong, man. But Batman requires you to be a billionaire and be really into dedicated to a lonely life of crime fighting. Spider-Man requires that you get science fictioned. You have to get bitten by a radioactive fucking spider. But still, even though he's very sci-fi compared to Batman's practicality and rooted somewhat in reality, Spider-Man is the hero of the common man, common woman, the common person, the common denominator. Rich, poor, who don't like fucking Spider-Man? You could root for this fucking kid, dude. And not just the kid who's playing him this time around, but Peter Parker in general, one of the most beloved fucking figures of 20th and 21st century fiction.
Yeah,
because you can project yourself onto him at almost any time in his life. And this time around, they gave us a Peter Parker that looks damn skippy close to the one that we grew up reading in the comics and whatnot.
And it's not an inconsiderate factor that people really fucking love Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Same. I'm not a parasocial cat, but I ship that marriage very, very hard. And just them in real life, I'm here for. But them in this movie, them playing these characters they have for however long they've been doing it now, I wish they would play it into old age. I'll grow along with these characters. I'll grow old with them. I'm happy to watch their relationship progress. It ain't fucking saying anything to say I cried in this movie because I cry at almost everything, but I did. I was very emotional. I thought this was a crazy emotional movie, man. Very well done by Destin Daniel Cretton.
Yep.
Fuck, man. Cretin. So much to say about Spider-Man, and we'll get to that later on. But it's breaking records, and we had to share that right up front.
Yes.
Let's do a little Comic-Con.
Sure.
And we'll pay some bills, and then we'll get into the news.
How was your Comic-Con, sir? You were a busy, busy man.
I did. It was wonderful. I had a really good time this Comic-Con, man. The highlight for me, oddly enough, wasn't even my own shit. So I enjoyed doing my Hall H panel on Saturday. I enjoyed doing my comedy show on Saturday night with Ralph at Hollywood Babylon at the American Comedy Club, where me and Mark did our show on Thursday night, and me and Jay did our show on Friday night. We did two shows. But Friday might have been the crescendo for me because I was at ground zero, not the epicenter of, but fucking adjacent to, some of the warmest affection ever sent an entertainer in the history of fucking entertainment. When I did the Spaceballs panel and Rick Moranis took the stage and Hall H gave him a standing ovation. Just everything about being involved with the panel and being able to, fucking talk to these cats and whatnot. Wonderful. But just being there while that dude received all that affection, all that, unspoken thanks for childhood memories, that are all pleasant. As I said many times this weekend, you're not just talking about Dark Helmet. You're talking about Louis Tully from Ghostbusters, the Keymaster. You're talking about Seymour Krelborn from Little Shop of Horrors, and you're talking about Wayne Szalinski, the worst fucking father in the history of cinematic dads who shrunk everything along the way. Streets of Fire, SCTV, my personal religion, Strange Brew with Bob and Doug, as I said all weekend, and as I said to Rick Moranis, I don't get to Bob and Doug, I don't get to Jay and Silent Bob without Bob and Doug McKenzie. So being a fan and, you know, watching him receive his flowers was everything, man. But being there, like on the stage and I told the folks at Amazon, like we pre-gamed like the week before. I said, we got to build in some time for when he gets on stage, because they had the bit of us finding him in the audience and shit. And then they were like, it's going to take him a few minutes to get backstage and then up on the stage. And then I said, you know, because these panels are very timed, right? Like you got an hour, you got to get the fuck out. So, you know, I said, just build in a little bit of time, because I said, has he ever been to Comic-Con before? They said, never. I said, they're going to welcome this guy like Christ coming into Jerusalem on an ass. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to be received as one of their own and as the architect of many a happy memory for everyone in the audience. So, you know, I don't think it took Kruskin to make that fucking prediction, but I did say, I was like, get ready. We're going to need some time, because there's going to be a lot of like this. And their damn Skippy was, man, that Hall H did not let me down, man. I know what it feels like now, and it's not directed at me, but I was there for what it feels like when 6,500 people give you nothing but unadulterated fucking affection. Like, and not for anything you did in the last 10 minutes, man, other than just showing the fuck up. They're just like, God damn it. You're like, you are part of the foundation of a happy childhood. So it was really, I love that whole panel was great. And then at night I did shows. Friday for me, it was just like, you know, everything. And it's not like Saturday sucked. Saturday was great. I got to do my panel. I followed Marvel, which is like, you know, fucking being a hot dog in a hallway after they get fucking done. They thoroughly fuck Hall H, you know, till everyone's just like, oh, I can't fucking come any more times. And then, you know, I'm like, hi, everybody. Let me come out and tell you some jokes. But I was able to retain, I would say, when all was said and done, 4,000, 4,500, which out of 6,500.
Pretty strong.
Just for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, no complaints there whatsoever. And normally, like, biggest room I play to these days, about 1,500, if I'm fucking crazy lucky and shit. So, you know, that many was just fucking wonderful. And the show that night, all the shows at the American Comedy Club were absolutely wonderful. But oddly enough, the thing that dictated how much I enjoyed Comic-Con this year was somebody else getting their fucking flowers, man. And that's good. That's, you know, everyone there celebrating somebody else, right? And 8 times, maybe 7 times out of 10, I'm one of the people who gets celebrated and whatnot. So I love receiving people's affection. People's like, hey, man, you made a thing that really does something for me. But, you know, 2 times out of 10, 3 times out of 10, I'm happy to be there for somebody else's fucking moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like any fan, you know, suddenly it ain't about me. Suddenly it's about, holy shit, I like this cat too. So I know how the audience feels. More of that, man, less of everything else. Fuck, it was just wonderful. If I could have bottled that feeling from Friday or just fucking injected it like sunshine in my veins, I'd do it every goddamn day. You could tell, as I said a few times, I was like, this man used to do Second City, right? So before SCTV, he was like Second City in front of people. So he understands live entertainment. And Amazon made it very clear there was like 6,500 people in that audience. So he understood he was walking into a room full of people. I just don't think he was prepared for like how much the fucking world loves him.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, he doesn't, he built the track upon which our worlds run, but he never really fucked with that world. He'd never been to Comic-Con. He didn't know that people would fucking line up and fill a place just to fucking look at the dude and shit and give him a standing O. So everything about it was like just fucking lovely and magical, man. How was your Comic-Con? After I saw you on Thursday night, what'd you do?
Yeah, I mean, mine was a bit more sedate. I never made it into Hall H, which I generally don't do anymore. Unless there's a very, very specific reason for me to be in there. Like, I'm not jockeying with the crowds. I'm not unless it's a panel for a show that I'm on, or if there's a friend who's doing a thing who can slide me in under his coat, then I'm here for it. But otherwise, like I had like a panel a day, I had a signing a day, and it was just lovely, to kind of reconnect with the show, to reconnect with old friends, to meet some new folks, to hear the rumors on the floor. Like the big rumor on Friday was that Denzel Washington was in San Diego.
Everyone kept saying he was going to be at the Marvel panel, and
Yeah,
since there's been word that he's in Black Panther 3, that actually seemed fairly credible.
yeah. Like I
I was
don't.
backstage at Hall H because my panel was after Marvel, so I was there when nobody was there, and so I got to see everybody show up. And having read that news, that's who I kept
Is
looking for.
Uncle Denzel here?
I was like, what's that going to be like? Because he's never done something like that. You know what I'm
I don't.
saying? I mean, it's not like he's not been in fun movies and shit, but he's generally not thrown out in front of 6,500 people in Hall H, like hardcore comic book fans who don't even know who he's playing and shit like that.
Yeah, like I would bet he's never been to Comic Con because I'm trying to think of the movie that would have brought him. And I mean, there's Deja Vu is a bit of a time travel thing, I think. And Virtuosity was really before there was a Comic Con for him to go to. Um,
Equalizer like is very Comic Con adjacent though.
it is.
In
It
my
is.
head at heart. I mean, it's fucking vigilante movie.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a big ass action movie.
yeah, as well.
Magnificent Seven. I mean, fucking Chris Pratt's in it, so maybe there's a world in which, but I don't think he's ever come. And so the idea that Denzel was in the house was like, holy shit, is Denzel really going to be there? It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, but it was fine. Um, we got Ryan Coogler to come out, and we got Ryan Coogler to explain, here's your new Black Panther.
Were you there for all of that?
I mean, I just saw it on spill all over the internet and was
So
like,
I'm in the
ooh.
back of the room, and what happened was like after they showed that Doomsday trailer, the one
Mhm.
that hasn't gotten out, but well, I mean, there's a leaked version that looks real bad, but it's an all Doom trailer,
Mhm.
with Stu Richards talking about him in the beginning and shit, talking about Victor. After that, the whole place was like, ah, and then they were like, fucking get ready for it. It's coming. Good night, everybody. And he marched everybody off stage, Kevin Feige. And then it felt like the panel was flat out done. Then 2 minutes later, he ran back out on stage. And then I couldn't hear if he said, hold on, one more thing, or I don't know. Maybe, you know, they weren't back there or any, or maybe they arrived a little bit late. But it looked like they were ending the panel without talking about Black Panther 3. And then he came out and was like, hold on, there's Black Panther 3 news. And then suddenly Ryan Coogler came out and stuff like that. And so then I was like, oh my God, maybe Denzel is going to be here. But the kid they introduced who's going to play Black Panther in 3, or the son, I saw him in The Long Walk. He's good.
Yeah, he's
Real
very
good.
good.
Yeah.
He's real good on the
As
long
soon
walk.
as they said that, like Ryan Coogler on stage mentioned some of the kid's credits, but for one of the first things he said was like, you might see him in The Long Walk. And I was like, oh, I know who that kid is.
And he's great in Alien Romulus. Like
He
he's
was in that.
yeah, he plays the synthetic, um, who was the lead's like best friend when she was growing up as a child, but there's something wrong with his programming, so it feels very on the spectrum kind of, but it's a phenomenal performance. And I never watched Industry, but apparently he's on the first couple of seasons of Industry and he's great. But it's super exciting, and it opens questions for like that actor seems to be in his early 30s, maybe late 20s. And the last time we saw T'Challa 2, he was 5 or 6. So like what explains the 20 years, the 25 years between then and now?
Mm.
Um, what does what happens in Doomsday or Secret Wars for that matter that incorporates a massive time leap? I don't know. Maybe a Ghost Rider does some shit. Who can tell?
I saw him backstage and I was like, oh my God, he's tall. I had no
Is
idea
it?
how tall Ryan Gosling was. But when I saw him instantly, my head did the math and I was like, they're about to announce Ghost Rider. Sure enough, they did. Banff, man, you out there? You had to go in and clean out fucking truth and
Bam.
decency. Fucking
Yeah, yeah.
was that some sort of holy roller?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Which is funny. He put all these messages in at the same time. My daughter was like, "I don't want to watch Cinderella on Disney Plus, Dad. I want to watch Rapunzel." So I was trying to get Rapunzel going from my desk. The wife is out at girls' night, so the kids staying up all night with Dad watching movies while I stream.
How old's the kid?
5.5.
5.5 kid. Acting like less of a child than the dude in chat, just spamming it with his truth and decency. Good God.
Hey,
yes,
I do want to say, if you want to hear more about the Avengers panel, you guys can check out Jay and Silent Bob are in the His House, which launched this afternoon, where Kevin spends 30 minutes breaking down that Doom trailer he referenced here. So when we're done here, go check out Jay and Silent Bob are in the His House.
Got its own channel. Don't look for it at my channel and stuff. It's at
youtube.com/@JSB His House. I've got it up on the screen.
Funny stuff. Me and Jay, in a bid to fucking stay home more, because we spend a lot of time on the road. We've been building this podcast. Jay and Silent Bob are in His House, and we just started doing it at home. And after doing Jay and Silent Bob get old for years, always in front of crowds on the road, we're trying a little home show. So we built His House, and we've been shooting episodes, and we launched the first one today. So check it out when you get a chance, kids. Also, if you're in the California area this Sunday, August 2nd, your favorite backwards baseball cap wearing, silent only in the movies, bearded neckbeard buddy is turning 56. That's right, kids. I turned 56 on Sunday, and I'm celebrating with a show at the Starlight Cabaret right on Ventura. If you know the area out here, it's in the valley. It's right next to the car wash with the big hand. I always say the hand job car wash. Beautiful venue, and I'm going to be doing a show there for my birthday, and then after I'm done trying to make people laugh, my kid's band Cinnamon's going to play. So good ass times, man. Tickets at csmod.com, or you can go to the Starlight Cabaret website, man. Right there in Studio City, beautiful Studio City, where everybody wants to go when you come to California.
They have all the studios.
Got every damn studio there, man. So many, they made a city of themselves. The Studio City looks like Jersey to me. It looks like the Valley. The Valley looks like Jersey to me. It's just flat, and here's a bunch of strip malls and shit. I feel very at home over there.
It is very 35. Ventura feels very 35.
Well done, my friend. So join me Sunday night, kids. Tickets at csmod.com or Starlight Cabaret website.
Was there any other news that came out of Comic-Con worth talking about?
Marvel dominated that panel. Although until then, I would say Friday, up until Friday, I would say Spaceballs probably won the week.
Yeah.
There were so many feel-good stories that came out. Aside from the writers and Josh Gad came up with a real fun, Marvel-esque kind of, this is the fucking Spaceballs universe. And we got plans for movies for the next 12 years, 100 years, whatever. And so they put together this big chart. Very, very funny, man. But just the warmth for the return of Rick Moranis to movies and stuff seemed to dominate the headlines on Friday. I was very happy for them.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I mean, I kept watching that footage to be like, oh, this is what it's like to feel something.
Yeah. The 70s, they told me, and I was like, what? He looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Good for him.
All right, nothing more about Comic-Con. Should we sell a thing or two before we dive into the news?
Sure, man.
This week, kids, we got a sponsor. Someone gonna help us bring us to you, man. And it's the good folks at Ridge. Get rigid, man. Like it with Ridges? Go to Ridge. Ready to upgrade your wallet and maybe your ride for a limited time only? Head to ridge.com and use the code FATMAN, all one word, at checkout for 10% off your order and a chance to win Ridge's biggest sweepstakes ever, man. A Lamborghini Huracan Storado, a Hennessy Velociraptor, a Ford Bronco, or $100,000 in cash, for heaven's sakes. No purchase necessary to enter, but every dollar you spend gets you more entries. That's ridge.com and use FATMAN, all one word, FATMAN. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Kids, this Ridge, like, whenever you do a ad for a sponsor, they send you the product, thank Lord. So you can actually try it, use it, blah, blah, blah. Ridge has sent me, I think, 3 different sets, man, of like the wallet and the key holder. Each time stolen by people who are like, ooh, is that Ridge? And I'm like, yeah, they're sponsored. Like, what? How'd you get a classy sponsor like Ridge? People love this Ridge, man. And I can see why. I took it out with me when I did a 1-week trip and whatnot, because I always carry, like, my phone has got my credit cards in. But I was like, I'm gonna pack this down into a smaller thing, man. So it just fit in my pocket. So I'm not always carrying my phone in my back pocket and stuff, because I didn't need a phone where I was going. These things are beautiful, man. Beautiful. And also hard.
Hell yeah.
Because it's made of metal, kids. It's metal. Man.
Yeah, I got the power bank, which I brought with me to Comic-Con, which was a fucking lifesaver.
Right?
Being able to spend a day on the floor and walking around the gas lamp and doing shit and seeing shit and taking all kinds of pictures and video. I needed to juice up, and the Ridge power bank fucking got me through it.
I'm telling you, once again, man, they sent me Ridge back. They sent me the wallet, and it's like, this is horseshit. It's fucking gone.
Somebody housed it.
It was my kid's fiance. I bet you it was Austin, son of a bitch. And I can't say nothing because that's her fucking man. What am I supposed to do? But like, he took my Ridgie, man, which sounds exactly as filthy as I meant to.
It's not ridged for his pleasure. It's ridged for mine.
Exactly. It is it's a fine damn product. You got one there in front of you? I'm sure.
Yeah, man. It's my little power bank here. That's awesome.
Look at that. Look at that, man.
So great. Can plug in just about fucking anything.
It is, Ridge, man. They make amazing power banks. They make wallets, luggage, and premium everyday gear, man. They're back with their legendary sweepstakes for the 6th year, and this time it's bigger than ever, man. The sweepstakes runs from July 24th through September 8th. Tony Hawk, the boy with wheels on him feet, is the official spokesperson this year. So you already know this one's going to be insane, man. The Hawk Man, come on. 2 lucky winners will get to choose between either the Lamborghini Huracan Storado, a Ford Hennessy Velociraptor, a souped-up Ford Bronco, or $100,000 cash. I'll tell you what I'd pick.
Yeah, what you gonna take?
$100,000 cash, no problem. I don't need no fancy fast car and stuff. Who am I, Tracy Chapman? You get a fast car. You gotta drive it anywhere. I'm happy to just take $100,000 cash, and you know what I'd do for the rest of my life? I'd take that money, I'd invest in a small business, turn it into huge returns, and then for the rest of my life, I'd be like, Ridge.
Thank you, Ridge.
Thank you, Ridge,
for sponsoring my life.
Have you ever driven a sports car? What do you currently drive? There's only 1,500 Lamborghini Huracan Storados that exist. And if Ridge is giving you the chance, man, to own one, this Lambo is the world's first off-road supercar. It's naturally aspirated V10 and has 610 horsepower, man. Can you imagine driving this thing around town? The Hennessy Velociraptor also has an insane 558 horsepower twin turbo. It's basically an American muscle car put into an all-terrain truck, man. The custom-built Bronco is coated in scratch-resistant Kevlar armor and riding high on a massive 37-inch off-road tires, cousin. Best part, you can enter completely free at ridge.com. You can go right now. You don't have to buy a damn thing, and you can enter at ridge.com, man. There's no reason not to enter. Why not take your shot, man? If you want to boost your chances, you can earn additional entries by picking up some Ridge gear during the sweepstakes, man. So you can enter for free, but if you want to improve your chances, you can buy a thing. They let you get a few more chances, man. Whether it's power bank, wallet, luggage, or something else that you've had your eye on, man, you'll earn extra entries with your purchase. Can you believe it? That's a sweet deal. Why are you still sitting here watching this show, man? Joe, second screen it over to ridge.com. Enter that contest, man. And if you win, me and Marc get a taste.
We do, right? We get a finder's fee.
Not by law, I guess, but just the moral thing to do would be give us a taste without us demanding.
A little wet our beaks.
Yeah, just a little. Just
still taste.
You ready to upgrade your wallet and maybe your whip, aka ride? For a limited time only, head over to ridge.com and use the code FATMAN and check out at the checkout for 10% off your order and a chance to win Ridge's biggest sweepstakes ever. A Lamborghini Huracan Storado, a Hennessy Velociraptor, a Ford Bronco, or $100,000 large in cash. No purchase necessary to enter, but every dollar you spend gets you more entries, kids. That's ridge.com and use FATMAN, FATMAN, all one word. After you purchase, they're going to say, hey, where'd you hear about this? You please support our show and tell them that Fat Man Beyond sent you, man. We thank the good folks at Ridge for making not only a fine product, for sponsoring this here ridiculous show. This whole show, they should put into a Ridge to give us some damn structure. No, we're just shooting from the hip over here. Thank you, ridge.com.
Indeed.
Classy sponsor, classy.
I'm a little scared of what would happen if somebody gave you a 600 horsepower armored SUV to drive around Los Angeles.
I know they like to put me in 4 and 6 cylinders because they're like that'll slow them down. You ever heard a fucking 4-cylinder engine max right off the line? I'm too competitive. Born and raised in New Jersey and taught to drive, most importantly, in New Jersey. New Jersey, as we all know, the motto on the state flag, it says, you think you're fucking better than me? So naturally, at every line, everyone is competition and shit. Yeah, I don't consider myself a reckless driver, Marc, in as much as I've, don't get in accidents and never gotten people hurt. But I'm not a law-abiding driver. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, it's
for thee, not me. I have places to go. I know you all have patience and shit, so you could drive 55, but like the great Sammy Hagar, not this little black duck.
I love that you're like an improvisational driver.
Yes,
we do.
I drive like jazz.
Hell yeah! It's like, is there sheet music to this? No. It's a blues riff in B. Watch me for the changes.
It's literally like, the sad thing is it's one of my favorite things in the world to do. And one day they're probably going to take it away from me. Because they're like, come on. Yeah, you're not doing this right. Nobody likes to drive with me. Like, my wife hates driving any place with me. If she does, she has to like give me a lecture in advance. Like, please, you can't drive like an asshole. I said, I never drive like an asshole, man. I just like to get where I'm going. And I don't need to be fast. I can't stand it when cars are in front of me. And the problem, Marc, is there's, sooner or later, there's always a car in front of you.
There is. That's why you get the big car. You just gently push them out of the way.
Push them right off Mulholland. Was that Silent Bill? Ah! Killed by Kevin James. Ah! All right, man. We got news.
We got some news, man. There's a lot of Marvel news this week. I guess because Marvel's been in the press.
Do you have Marvel casting news?
I have some X-Men casting news.
I've read a thing today and I was like, this must be bullshit, because why wouldn't they have said this in Hall H? But then in retrospect, that would have required them to bring out a whole new world of actors, and they already had the host of all the folks that were. Seems like they're concentrating Doomsday. Like, the Marvel's already announced nothing is happening between Doomsday and Secret War. They're not putting other movies out there and shit like that. They're concentrating on this. Now that's code for like, we gave Robert Downey Jr. every dime we had.
Yes, we're spending.
You're not gonna get a Wonder Man season 2 because you're getting Doomsday and you're getting Secret Wars.
Yeah,
because they announced Wonder Man season 2.
Yeah, they had renewed the show back in March, and then they unrenewed it a couple days ago.
And that's not because like people suddenly decided they don't like Wonder Man. They're cinching the belt, man, putting all that money into Doomsday. And I'm telling you, and Secret Wars, and I'll tell you right now, the plan may be working. Marvel is generating excitement again.
Yeah. Yes.
No, Mark, not yet. Yes, not a qualified. I want an unqualified.
They 100% are. I think they would still generate excitement if they made a season 2 of Wonder Man, like they said they were gonna.
I agree, but what do they? I mean, what now? It's like when they made Wonder Man, where were they in the Doomsday of it all?
They hadn't started production yet, I don't think, but they knew they were going to do it.
I wonder, I mean, is there not? I saw somebody online conjecture that, like, oh, maybe that's because they're going to show up in, Secret Wars or something.
Which they still could. Like, you could have done a season 2 of the show, but apparently they never opened a writer's room, even though they had greenlit the show back in March. And it's Emmy nominated. Like, Yaya's got a best.
There's Emmy nominations to it. Did you see his reaction to the whole thing?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I guess this sucks."
I think it's like shit happens.
Yeah, which is, sure. I guess that is one way to react to the second season of your show not happening.
There's a guy who walked between two worlds, man. Dr. Manhattan and Wonder Man.
Maybe he's a one season guy.
That's right. He's like, look, so damn good. Why would I do it again?
Come on, he can't walk in the same river twice.
Something tells me he would like to go again. Something tells me this is somebody else's decision.
Yeah. But it's unfortunate because I very much
that was good. I enjoyed Wonder Man, both of them, and I remember the whole time it was on, I kept saying to Jennifer, like, what a gift for Ben Kingsley at age 80 something.
Yeah,
to be in something hip, fun, fucking oddly original while being something oddly familiar and stuff.
Yeah. And it ended with a perfect kick into a second season.
Yeah.
Or
conversely, it ended with a fantastic finale of and then they'll go off and have adventures that are expensive and not on camera.
Adventures of the imagination, everybody.
Yes. Take them wherever you like.
Yeah. Where do you think Trevor Slattery is going to pop up next?
Jay Inc. in chat pointed out Black Manta as well.
Yeah.
So another DC fucking property, not just Watchmen.
I know. The man works. The man likes to work.
Dr. Manhattan, Black Manta, and Wonder Man, says Trevor Golding, 9200. You're absolutely right. IKGO 753 says, have they talked about the Odyssey yet? They have not.
I did.
Don't know. You did last time?
Yeah, at the Thursday Comic-Con show.
Fair enough. So you could go watch the Thursday Comic-Con show. Mark did see it. I still have not seen it.
You haven't rolled down the hill to watch it at the Chinese?
No, but I did see Spider-Man Brand New Day twice. my superheroes wear very colorful outfits. I got nothing against old Odysseus and whatnot, and I can't wait to see it when I do see it. But Spider-Man, you couldn't stop me from getting to that fucking movie.
I know. I know. Parking tried to.
They tried. Oh my God. We got to we'll tell you all about it, but kids, our good friend Brett Deacon, who always gives us tickets to give away to 4DX screenings when we're at the live shows. 4DX also owns ScreenX, man, and that's where there's not just the screen in front of you, but the walls on the left and right side also have screens, and so they expand the movie out and whatnot. Spider-Man Brand New Day is the first movie where they ever shot with ScreenX in mind. So ScreenX brought cameras onto the set and spoke with and in conjunction with the director, with Destin Daniel Cretton, adding to the vision so that, there are times when you watch the movie, you're enveloped in imagery and stuff. And not only did Deacon invite us to the screening, and me and Mark and Kevin Conroy went. Kevin, you're like, Kevin Conroy? Yes, you should be excited because he's a wonderful man. He's just unfortunately not the voice of Batman. We lost him a while ago. But our friend Kevin Conroy, friend of the show as well, Kevin Conroy, who, if you ever see me, I'm out in public and I'm wearing that thing tied around my waist, which is all, my wife calls it my centerpiece. She's like, you're wearing your fucking centerpiece again. My centerpiece was created by Kevin Conroy. He makes those hoodies that I wind up tying around my fucking waist to hide
Your champion's belt.
Exactly. My centerpiece, as she calls it. So the three of us went over to Burbank to the AMC 20.
Mm-hmm.
We got to go to a ScreenX screening of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah.
That, you know, the folks at Sony sponsored, and Real D, because we watched it in 3D effects and shit like that. Right there in the Burbank AMC 20, literally steps from where Banff Man is building Scum and Villainy Rendezvous. Bro, it's going to be fucking magic over there. Just your vision of putting that fucker over there, like just based on fucking Spider-Man action. Oh my God. You're going to make so much fucking money. Because yes, comic book movies, of course, play. And Burbank is fast becoming the comic book capital of America.
Yes.
But also every action movie, every sci-fi movie, Scum and Villainy Rendezvous, kids, is the new iteration of Scum and Villainy Cantina that JC has been running for a few years now. That is our home. And as you know, if you've been following the show, or if you go to scumandvillainy.com, or what is it about the fleet?
Founding Fleet.
Foundingfleet.com. You could be a backer and help JC own a piece of Scum and Villainy Rendezvous. So when I went to see the movie, I was running late, although they started late anyway, so I don't know why we were running. But me and Mark at one point couldn't find parking. We went to the top of a rooftop parking thing, 8 flights up, only to find a brick wall and no parking. And then had to fucking do the K-turn and fucking back down. We really thought we were going to miss it. Mercifully, we got it. But even though we were running late, still had time to walk past or run past the fucking plane. Exactly. And
did you look in?
Yeah.
And see?
That's such a choice location. Kids, if I know we've said it before, but if you don't know, that AMC in Burbank is the top grossing theater in the United States. I can't speak to the world. I'm sure like they got some big houses over in UK or some sort of shit, but or India. I don't know where else they like movies a lot.
Japan.
Yeah, I bet you they got some pretty big movie houses over there. But that do big grosses. But this is numero uno across the fucking US map and whatnot. So busy, to say the least, at all times. Having Scum and Villainy right down the street. JC gonna be the first billionaire we know.
We know Kirkman, right? So maybe the second.
Is Kirkman already a billionaire?
I mean, he's got Walking Dead and Invincible money.
Yeah.
You would
and
think.
Walking Dead just re-upped their license to Netflix for $500 million.
So yeah, he's
although
he never seems to be getting a piece of that. Doesn't he go to court for it all the time?
Frank Darabont goes to court for that all the time.
Who does?
Frank Darabont.
Oh, so when he goes to court, is that against Robert Kirkman?
No, it's against AMC.
But AMC. So does Robert Kirkman, he's like, hey, I'm cool with AMC, or does he also go into court against him?
I'm pretty sure he's okay with it. They've done very well by him.
And vice versa.
That's the house that Walking Dead built.
Imagine having that kind of fucking crazy. I swear to you, boys, if I had that Walking Dead money, if I was like Robert Kirkman, fucking successful and shit like that, I'd personally finance 5 fucking Scum and Villainies, man. In all the best cities, not even the best, all the fucking the keys.
All the worst cities.
Every shithole across America.
Camden, New Jersey. Here we go.
Whoa, bro. New Jersey, I just want to stay for the record. I did not say that. That's the Bronx talking.
Yeah, but not too far.
Yeah, really. Take it with a grain of salt. Bronx said some shit about Camden. Just leave it there. Meanwhile, all the Bronx is like, fuck you, Silent Bill.
We got a zoo. What do you got in Camden?
Exactly. From South Bronx, South Bronx.
Did you look in? The fence is up. We're jackhammering up concrete. It's under construction. Plumbing's going in.
If you go and look inside, there are trenches dug in the floor.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You're laying pipe?
Plumbing. Yeah, plumbing.
Ridge.
How crazy. So it's not even a turnkey where it's just like you got the place and then you just start putting in equipment. You have to do a thing.
Everything. Yeah, we're adding a second floor. There is nothing in there. There's no power. There's no electricity in there. We're adding all of it.
Kids, it's exciting, man. Like if you've ever been to Scum and Villainy in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard, it's an absolute experience. JC been able to keep this thing going. How many years? 5 years now? More than that.
We are in year 10. So we just had our 10th May the 4th.
So what started as like, oh, I could do a Star Wars pop-up in this place before they lose their lease. Okay. Literally turned into a man's fucking vocation. So, Scum and Villainy Cantina has become legendary in its short life of fucking a decade on Hollywood Boulevard. But this new fucking location, the version in Burbank, Rendezvous, Scum and Villainy Rendezvous, geek fucking paradise, geek mecca. Fucking, you gotta put aside some time in your life to come to this place, man. He's building like the perfect monster. Like
I just finished. We're in beta test on the squadron sorting. So when you join the fleet, you can take an assessment, which is like all these geeky questions. Like one of my favorite is, what if you were Batman? Which Batcave would you pick? The trophy room, the surveillance, the like med bay, or the weaponry where all the gadgets are. So right. What sort of Batman would you be? And based on your answers, it's like a Myers-Briggs personality test. And so all the people who pick the trophy room Batcave answers will get put together in a squadron, and we're going to have squadron nights and do some really cool stuff. So I'm beta testing. I just sent it to Mark, who was going through it before the show.
Yeah, it's fun.
Thorn Identity in chat said which version of Scum will host Fat Man Beyond. And I'll be honest with you, like I can't wait to the new place.
Yeah, the new one.
Like, no. And it's not to say like fuck the old one. I'm sure we'll go back and do a show there as well. But that new space is like, you got to understand, when him and his lady opened Scum and Villainy, they were, it wasn't like, and we'll have entertainment. It was like they're trying to get the bar concept down. And so we started strong arming JC about like, hey man, can we do a show and shit? And so we kind of like worked with the existing space, but it's not really set up for shows. There's no real stage. We go behind the bar and shit like that. It's charming. All of it's great, but it was all retrofitted after the fact because it was never a consideration beforehand. And why would it be? Now they go in with a fucking plan where it's like, this is how we're going to be able to do podcasts every week. And not just like our show. I mean, naturally that'll be a home for Fat Man Beyond, but other motherfuckers will come and do shows. Or you, the audience, if you got your fucking podcast that has its audience, you're like, I've always wanted to fucking do a show. I'm not saying you fucking got to come every week, but this would be a goal for me, a life goal, where it's just like, I would like to do a live version of my podcast out in Los Angeles at the Scum and Villainy Cantina, man. That'd be badass and stuff. So it's going to be the field of dreams for those of us in our fucking middle ages who still believe in the culture that pops, and, people who go see Spider-Man twice in 1 day in 24 hours and ball both times and stuff. This is going to be the place to be, man. And not even like the place to see and be seen and shit. Saying about like hipster fucking exclusivity, man. That's what's wonderful about Scum and Villainy. All are welcome. Rush over, children. All are welcome. All are welcome.
While we're answering the Thorn Identities question,
yes,
I would like to give him some love. That is Jeffrey Thorn, television writer, animation writer. He and I worked together on Eyes of Wakanda.
Oh, shit.
He's the showrunner for season 2 of Batman Caped Crusader, which just dropped on Amazon.
Which just dropped. I was literally like, we just finished, me and the wife watched a documentary and it was on Prime. And I was like, oh, shit. And I went to watch an episode and she's going, you have Fat Man Beyond.
You have to go to work.
Ooh, curse you. But yeah, that's up. So that's when I'm done with this, so I'm gonna dive into those. That first season was wonderful. And I don't just say that as somebody who had Onomatopoeia show up as a character and stuff.
No, and I don't just say that as a person who wrote an episode of season 1,
which was absolutely like, and I don't just say this as a guy who likes Marc Bernardin, but it's one of the best episodes. Like, it is. You ain't seen that story before. Even on Batman the Animated Series, I never saw that story.
Yeah, no, I mean, and so Jeff is one of my favorite people in Hollywood. I'm lucky to have worked with him once. I will find a way to work with him again.
Well, he's a smart man because he recognized talent, brought you on.
He's a good man, Charlie Brown.
You guys should come in and teach a writing seminar at Scum and Villainy Rendezvous next year.
Oh.
Bro,
I think I've already been looped
Villainy.
in.
I'm gonna become the norm of Scum and Villainy. You know, it's like, every time I walk in, people are like, Kev, what do you have, Mr. Smith?
Could you imagine how
cancer,
fun would that
Woody?
be?
I have cancer. Like that'll be
What's shaking, Kev? All 4 cheeks and a couple of chins.
Yeah, I look forward to fucking being able to do like experimental shows there. I'm gonna treat that fucking place like old Smodcastle, like the Smodcastle we did in Santa Monica Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? Where it's this little 50-seater, and it's like, ooh, let's try this show, and stuff like that. You know, one of my favorite fucking things to do, and we could do that there on the regular, is read comic books. Where everybody gets playing parts and stuff. We did that at the American Comedy Club, me and Jay, for it was called Comics On with Jay and Silent Bob. And we did it with Jay's of Future Past, which was fun. But could you imagine, like, all right, we're gonna read Born Again. So, you know, fucking,
and we could do it.
Karen, you get to be, you know, fucking Turk, you get to be Kingpin, like giving out parts to the audience, man. So it also gives you a chance to be discovered, so to speak, by people who are like, ooh, what a strong performance you gave and shit. And since it's like material that everybody has access to in advance, it's not like they're reading cold and shit. A lot of people at our show had to read that book cold and whatnot. So yeah, like just think about the possibilities, the different fucking varieties of shows we could try. My dream is that we could sell a TV show or a streamer based on fucking like the shows that you do there, you know, fucking Scum and Villainy Presents kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite things that I got to do this past year was we did a live read of The Twilight Zone as a fundraiser thing. We did it at Dynasty Typewriter, and we, you know, gathered together a bunch of, it was awesome. We gathered a bunch of writers, and we got the scripts, and we read it. We raised quite a bit of money for refugee relief, and like to be able to do live reads of like, we'll get a bunch of fucking actors and we'll pick an old episode of a TV show and we'll just do it on its feet and stream it from the bar. Like that'd be great to be able to do a series of shit like that.
What's your max capacity in the new place, you feel?
It'll probably be like, if we did a show, it'll probably be 100-ish, probably maybe a little bit more on the main floor. But if we wanted to do experimental stuff, it's probably like 50 upstairs. And we're going to have the big LED screen.
Yeah, the upstairs. There's fucking 2 flights to this shit. Oh my God. Until then, kids, you want to see a show? How about Sunday night? Come join me in Studio City as I turn 56. Kevin Smith's 56th birthday this Sunday night at 8 o'clock at the Starlight Cabaret, man. Kid playing afterwards with Cinnamon, the band. You have some chuckles. You fucking boogie to some music afterwards. I'm sure the kids got danceable music. And you watch a man turn 56. You will believe a man can die one day. Hopefully not on stage in front of you, but I'm gonna age in front of you. I'm gonna what's that dude called? I'm gonna Dorian Gray right in front of you, man.
Ooh. Are you gonna be the guy who chose poorly?
Yeah. Come on out and hang out. All right, what news?
They're very, 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 very slowly releasing the new cast of the X-Men.
Now, may I guess one? And I want to see if this was a dream I had or if this is absolutely true.
Sure, shoot.
Have they, and where are we getting this information, and is it valid? Or is this
information came from Deadline.
And is Deadline saying it's official, or we've heard, or conjecture, or rumor?
You know, they're saying Marvel has not commented, but they seem to know quite a bit about quite a bit.
And Deadline is generally, they're not like, you know, shooting from the hip, telling people like, oh, I heard it's this. They're pretty newsy over there.
Yeah, they're not into reporting rumors if they can at all avoid it.
All right, so I heard they cast a white queen.
They did indeed. That's the news.
Is that white queen going to be played by Samara Weaving?
You got it in one.
I think this is an excellent choice, man. She was in the Yorma Tacone movie that we showed at Smodcastle over Your Dead Body.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just in, I watched Carolina, Caroline, or Caroline, Carolina, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really wonderful. And I could see her fucking pulling that off, man. I love the White Queen as a character. They've done her once with January Jones, right?
Right.
I think that's a strong character that can hold a lot of space in the mutant saga. So that made me very excited.
Yeah, and given what we know so far, we're not going to spoil anything from Brand New Day yet, but it seems as if the pictures of the mutants that we're currently being told do triangulate around Cyclops in a very interesting way. And so there's something kind of it's nice that they're not forgetting that Cyclops is a leader of the X-Men.
They haven't cast that motherfucker, have they?
I mean, they probably have, but they haven't released the name.
But there's no rumors about it.
There's no rumors yet. I mean, and they've been very, very fucking good about keeping this shit locked down.
They weren't good about keeping Spider-Man off X. Good God. I gotta be honest with you, man. They're getting me excited for the mutant saga. And a lot of that has to do with Brand New Day. I think they did great work with Brand New Day and making me want to see not just the movie I came to see, but another movie down the road where I'm like, I'll follow her, I'll follow him. We're gonna spoil it when we talk about it, kids.
Oh, we 100% will. But we'll give people a little bit of.
And I don't know that we can spoil it. I think fucking it's been spoiled and it's out there and shit. But it we'll talk about it when we get to the review. All right. So did they cast anybody else other than Samara Weaving?
Nope. And that's it so far.
It's fucking huge, man. Yeah. So we know they've cast that role. We suspect they've cast another role, female role.
I think that despite the fact that the story Marvel wants to tell us is Doomsday and Secret Wars are coming, I think that their chips are really being pushed all in on the X-Men. I think they know that is the way forward. I think that Doomsday and Secret Wars are to a certain degree closing a chapter that we thought was closed with Endgame, but now it will be closed for certain, for sure. But the X-Men are the future for them. And so they're taking their time and they seem to be doing it right.
What other news?
As we talk about the beginning of one universe, Tom Holland already seems to have a Spider-Man succession plan in place. Because he understands that he can't play Peter Parker forever.
Could.
Well, he can try, but he ain't gonna be too.
I would take it. I love him as Peter Parker. I love his Peter Parker and the Spider-Man. He's my fave.
He's great. But he says he was on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, and he said there's a whole plan that we've been working out since they finished Spider-Man No Way Home about how to transition out of playing Peter Parker. It says it's laid out. It's going to change for sure, but we have a really clear vision for the passing on of the baton. And I think it's really exciting, he says. And he wants it to be a bit like when Robert Downey Jr. Was able to mentor him when he came aboard. He's like, for whoever's next, whether that's Miles Morales or Spider-Gwen or Spider-Woman or something like that, I would love to be part of setting up that next chapter. Whatever that looks like, I don't know. But if I could do what Downey did for me, then I would be so content to swing off into the sunset. Because, he can't play college age anymore. The man is 30.
Oh, but Peter Parker grew up, became a man, got married and all that shit.
He did. But, personally, as a comic book,
I don't understand. These things are fucking comic books. You could keep telling these stories every which way till the end of time. And if they get old, then guess what? It's a what if world. I don't know why anyone has to hang up. And especially when we live in a culture where nothing's ever over. I just read that fucking Clueless is getting a sequel as a TV show.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? I guess the requisite is when he's done, he hangs up the webs and shit. He could walk away for 5 to 10 years, but based on the culture right now, we had Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man for 20 years and stuff. I could see him coming back because I would continue watching his version of Peter Parker. I would love to watch him grow up. I'd love to grow old with that fucker, man. And I'm sure as an actor, he's like, look, I want to do other things. I don't want to keep playing Peter Parker, but man, do it. Play it to death. Like, just why not? You're good at it. Everyone loves you doing it and shit. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that and he is actually very actively has his hand on the wheel of the things that they're now doing with Peter Parker.
Said that. He said in a lot of interviews that like he was an active participant in the writer's room this time and whatnot. Yeah, and good for him. He's got agency because now the part is fucking his. He's been doing it for years, and they can't make I mean, look, one day they will make a Spider-Man movie without him, but they'd be ridiculous to make a fucking Spider-Man movie now without him. They got to keep fucking making as many as they can before he fucking decides he don't want to do it again. I honestly hope he gets through 2 more, so he's got 2 trilogies. Because this is the beginning of a new trilogy, isn't it? Right now,
yeah, can absolutely be if you want.
Eventually, because we've already kind of done, the homes. Now we're into the days.
For a new day, final day,
one last day,
the last day. Speaking of the last, it seems like Mahershala Ali is done talking about Blade.
Ooh, I saw this article. He spoke and then added a period at the end.
Yeah, he was talking to GQ and he was like, no offense to Marvel. I've been doing this professionally for pushing 30 years now. But one thing I've learned is that for what is for you and what is not for you, and for whatever reason, that project is not for me. If they wanted to do it, we would have done it. So I have to move on, and I have moved on. So I'm good. It's like, again, you had me under contract. They have billions of dollars. If they wanted to do the movie, we would have done the movie. So we're not doing the movie.
Just doesn't like why is Blade so hard? Doesn't have to be.
No.
Seems like of everything you're doing, like one of the easiest concepts to pull off, especially because it's been proven.
Yeah, like it is not.
If that's the case, Mark, and if he's walked away and it's done, then can we get Wesley Snipes back? I mean, why not? He was so fun in Deadpool Wolverine. Why not? Old Man Blade. I'll take 2 hours of that.
If you could do for Blade what Logan did for Wolverine,
100%, right?
Then give that to me. Pump it in my veins. But yeah, in a perfect world, it is also not a movie that needs to cost $200 million to make.
No,
it's a horror movie. It's a vampire movie. It's an action movie. You can make that shit for $30 million
and clean up at the box office.
Fuck yeah! Like, there's no reason why you can't make a weapons level Blade and just fucking bring it into my face. I'm sorry, my bad.
But that's a shame, man. We've been waiting for that Blade picture.
Hell yeah. And even Kevin Feige had previously said that he feels like a gigantic loser and failure for not being able to make Blade happen.
I mean, I don't know. His track record's pretty stellar.
It's still not bad, but that's Feige admitting that they kind of
Flex 316 in chat said 10 million if you're smart. Yeah, you could totally hire that fucking kid who did what's his name? Obsession.
Corey Barker.
I can hire that kid and fucking make a $10 million version.
I mean, we've been saying it for years. Like, I don't see a world in which you need to spend $300 million on a Batman movie. It's a dude in a car in a suit who punches crime in the face. Like, True. Blade is a dude in a car with armor who stakes vampires in the face.
The problem with you, Mark, is you don't understand Batman, because Batman is not just that. Batman is also a man who saves a city from flooding somehow. Don't you get it? But when Bob Kane created Batman, it was the original name for the character was Floodstopper. It wasn't as marketable. They tried it out. It didn't play up a Pacoima. They went with Batman instead.
Yeah, they called him the Dyke, and it went the wrong way.
People are like,
Dyke. Does he scissor the floods? No.
Man, oh man. Like that movie was unnecessarily expensive in as much as you literally could have done the first 2 acts of that movie, and that could have been the whole ass movie.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they were like, wait, there's a flood because remember? And you're like, no.
Did we talk about a flood? Is there a flood? Why is there a flood? Do we need a flood?
he's got to swing. What's Batman gonna do? He's gonna swing.
Did
But
that swing?
the thing is gonna break, so he's gonna fall in the water. And then I don't know. He'll light a flare.
Yeah, people will follow him.
Lead people through the water.
Because he's the hero this city needs.
I wonder if that's what Matt Reeves wanted to do, or if Warner Brothers was like, can you give us like a superhero third act? The rest of this shit is just like true detective bullshit. Can you give us something larger than life? Like
very emo.
Real super heroics. That third act always felt like it came out of nowhere. And I know a lot of people online would be like, no, man, they set it up in the movie. I get it, but that movie would have absolutely worked with just the Riddler hunt with none of that,
Yeah.
The town is flooding. But you know what? They made all the money. What the fuck do I know? Listen to me, Warner Brothers. If you're smart, you won't listen to a fucking thing Silent Bob tells you. David Zaslav is like, don't worry. David Zaslav couldn't even hear me because he's behind piles of money. Towers of gold.
Also, speaking of things that are not happening, the dude who was hired to write the Booster Gold show said recently, we're not making a Booster Gold show.
I mean, I wonder how things are over at DC post Supergirl. Supergirl is on home video, kids. You can stream it, and I streamed it the other night. That was last night, the night before, and had a good ass time watching it at home. Home viewing, of course, movies don't get reviewed nearly as harshly, right? Like you could pause, you can eat, go grab a meal, go take a shit, come back, watch it at your leisure, on your pace and your schedule. And it was a really enjoyable watch. That being said, it did not do well at the box office. I guess the rumpus is it's going to lose 100 million for them or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So I haven't heard or seen, I'm not like I comb the internet for this shit, but in my algorithm, in my timeline, whatever the fuck, I haven't seen any post-mortems from within. Like I've seen, I think not Warner Bros. A Hollywood Reporter might have done a "here's what went wrong" piece like a week later or whatever fuck. But I don't think I've seen James comment anywhere. Has he said anything about like back to the drawing board or anything like that?
I don't think so. And for as forthcoming as he is, I don't know to what advantage it would be for him to come out and say very much of anything while they're also trying to sell lanterns.
I was gonna say they got lanterns coming in 10 minutes, so it's like,
and that new trailer looks fucking great.
Yeah, it does. I'm telling you, I know there are some people online like, come on, this shit should be set in space. Well, it feels like it has a lot to do with space. It just happens that this mission is primarily Earth-based. But let me tell you, you don't get any more spacey than fucking manhunters. Like as a concept. And I'm not just talking about people that hunt people like bounty hunters. In DC Comics, the manhunters are geeky as fuck and very space-based. So geeky, in fact, have you ever seen manhunters done in any of the mainstream iterations of DC Comics? Did they ever do them on CW? Have they ever done them in the cartoons? Probably in the cartoons. Yeah. So this is a huge swing.
Yeah.
And, I know the first trailer we saw made it seem very true detective, but, with superheroes. But I think this might be the wise choice, man. I'm hyped for this series. Now, I've heard some stuff that I'm like, what? But, I ain't judging. I'm going to watch the whole thing and then find out. But in the last trailer, the one that they dropped at Comic-Con where, they have him in jail talking to Sinestro.
Yeah.
That felt very Manhunter, oddly enough. The movie Manhunter that Michael Mann made. Yeah. Where he goes to see Lecter in jail, where Will Graham goes to see Lecter in jail.
Yeah. And it also felt like the trailer that HBO was afraid to put out at first.
Yeah, which is like, why?
Yeah. Because it seemed like they were running from it. I think it was like, we got to convince normies to watch a Green Lantern show. So we're never going to say lanterns or show anything green. And now they're like, well, fuck it. Like, let's just do the thing. And it's way more exciting.
Masuda MJ says DCAU, the DC animated universe. Justice League had manhunters. I thought I remembered that sort of thing, man. Ron H 7474 says Kevin has shilled for everyone and their grandmother. Doesn't everyone know that? It depends what you mean by shill. If you're saying Kevin Smith likes everything, I ain't gonna fight you on that. But shilling means somebody fucking pays you. Let me tell you something, kids. Nobody fucking pays you to say nice things about fucking Spider-Man. They don't need your help. They may give out free screenings to influencers, but like that ain't us. We thank God Deacon invited us to a fucking Screen X screening in advance. Otherwise, we just would have paid on opening day like everybody else. I paid. I went on Thursday and saw a 1:00 show. At where did I go? The Chinese 6,
the Chinese
TCL 6. So I'm down like a clown for it, but like, find another word, man. It ain't shill. Like, you're incorrect. I wish I was a shill. That would mean they'd give me money for this shit, but I just talk about the things I love. So if you're saying, oh my God, Kevin Smith sucks the dick of everything, fine. I'll take that. Even though my mother, spins in her grave probably going, oh, Tiger, don't let them say that about you and stuff. But I'll fucking take that. Just shill is, come on, man. Like, that ain't real. Like, I understand, like, people are like outside the business, like, oh my God, Disney gives everyone money. They don't. I fucking wish they did. We can't even get fucking invited to premieres and shit like that.
Yeah.
And we have a show that, like, I ain't saying it's the best in the business and shit, but like, we've been around for a long time and people tune in, and I'm not saying we're influencers, but like, we got an audience. We went to that Screen X screening the other night, which was wonderful. But one of the sponsors was, what was it called?
The B Movie Club, I think.
B Movie Club. And so the kids who do the B Movie Club got up, and I guess most of the audience was from their audience. Mm-hmm. But they tell the story and they go, we started this 2 months ago. So like, this is crazy. And I sat in the back and I looked at Mark and I'm like, how do we get this? Like, how do we get a fucking, like, we've been doing this forever. So don't fucking throw around shill, man. I wish that somebody would fucking take us under their wing and pay us off and shit. This is all about love. This is all about affection, man.
Yeah, I'll
tell you when it's a fucking paid ad, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah. I gave up my integrity once I stopped being a journalist, so I will happily take somebody's money to say nice things.
Ron H 7474 said, uh-oh, I raised Kevin's blood pressure. He needs to vape some nugs pronto, LOL.
Should we talk about Spider-Man?
Have we not done that yet? I guess we have. Are we done with all the news?
We're done with all the news.
All right, there's all the news, kids. That's all the news you're going to get. And now we dive into reviews.
Yeah. Oh, I will say one thing before we get to Spider-Man. I watched a show that I almost didn't watch on Apple called Star City. It is a spin-off from For All Mankind. Did you ever fuck with For All Mankind?
No, For All Mankind is the what if they got to space before us or something like that?
Yeah, the premise is basically, the Russians land on the moon before America does. Mm-hmm. And what that does to the American space program, what that does to space exploration, and how being second lights a fire under NASA, under the administrations, under everything that accelerates space exploration at an exponential degree. But Star City is the flip side of that story. Star City is from the Russian point of view, having landed on the moon first. Where do they go from there? And it is the closest thing to fucking Chernobyl that I've seen since Chernobyl. It's fantastic. It is just like deep spy shit. It is like the lives of others meets Chernobyl. It is, all about conspiracies and paranoia and science and love in the wrong places. And it's beautiful. Like, it probably won't get a second season because I don't know who watches anything on Apple. I'm pretty sure they weren't watching Star City. But it's terrific. It is probably going to be on my top 10 list.
Good to fucking know. Good God, man.
Yeah.
What was that thing you all like? Fast? What is it called?
Oh, Fast Color.
You've referenced that again recently. When you like a thing, obscure or not, You fucking like
don't shut up about a thing.
In chat, Jeffrey Knights Wander 2410 asked me if I was ever going to make another movie. And then later on, he followed it up with this question where he goes, I wish he would make another movie like the 430 movie or Jersey Girl. I miss his films about real people. The last movie I made was the 430 movie, bro. Like, how can you miss my movie about real people when it was literally just the last movie I made? I mean, I thank you for liking it and shit, but like, I just gave you the thing that you said you missed. Like, and that was only 2 years ago.
He's hungry. He wants more.
I'm all for it. I'm happy to give more.
He hungry.
But to be fair, I did the very thing he asked. I did what you asked of me.
All right. Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spoilers if you have not yet seen Spider-Man Brand New Day. We've given you an hour and change of buffer between the beginning of the podcast to now to wallow, to enjoy, to peruse the news with me and Kev. But now we fucking are going to hit it. And we lost Kev. It's all, hey, give me some head.
I got head from Brett Deacon last night or the other night at Spider-Man. This is one of the many popcorn buckets and stuff. As we all know, kids, the real money in the movie business is in designer popcorn buckets nowadays and whatnot. This is just one of many that Spider-Man Brand New Day did. Now, full disclosure, because again, I'm fucking somebody being like, he's a fucking shill. I'm not a shill. I fucking love these Spider-Man movies, though. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I'm deeply invested in that relationship between him and MJ and whatnot. And I thought the fucking twist at the end of the last movie was fantastic. And it was painful waiting this long to find out what fucking happened to Peter Parker's world after the events of No Way Home. No Way Home, easily one of the greatest comic book films ever made in terms of pure imagination and a story that only comic books would bother to tell, which is like, hey, remember there were 3 different Spider-Man movies? What if they all came together in one of these movies? And we made it make sense. And it still worked in our continuity. So that movie is an absolute fucking magic trick. And very comic booky in as much as the concepts are fantasy and beyond the realm of reality and whatnot. And that's what you want in a good comic book story, is show me a world I'll never be to. Show me a world where all this shit is absolutely fucking possible. So I adore all of these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, but I thought
No Way Home.
No Way Home was a stunning achievement, to the point where you're like, oh my God, do you even bother to make another Spider-Man movie? Like, you had 3. Like that shot of them fucking like jumping off the statue and whoa, 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 and swinging together. You got to be a fucking Nazi robot not to be moved by that shit, not to feel the joy in your heart watching fucking Spider-Man, 3 different versions of Spider-Man working in tandem together, man, tingles together. So it's a high fucking bar to make a movie that lives up to that flick, let alone perhaps surpasses it in some way. So I went into Brand New Day and, you know, not like, go ahead and fucking impress me, because I loved everything I've seen in the trailers. And, you know, I liked Shang-Chi a lot, and I liked Wonder Man. So I was relatively sure that Destin Daniel Cretton, like the transition from, who was the boy that made the first 3?
John Watts.
Transition from John Watts to Destin. Like, I didn't think there would be like a noticeable, like, oh my God, what a bump in the road that was. How could we change horses midstream or something? They picked the perfect time to do it, for heaven's sakes, as what they're starting what appears to be a new trilogy. So it's a long way of saying that I was on board for it when I stepped into the movie theater and whatnot. What I got to watch in that movie theater was the Spider-Man that I grew up reading. Put upon, like, Spider-Man is everybody's hero and everybody's friend, and Peter Parker is anonymous and alone in the world. It is one of the most bittersweet premises for the opening of a superhero movie ever committed to celluloid, in as much as he has to live with the fact, deal with the fact, interact with the fact on social media that the world has gone on without him personally, without Peter Parker. They'd like to make this movie about the duality between the two. I don't know if that landed as well for me in terms of, I know there's the big moment where he's like, I'm both, spoilers, but that didn't feel like the crux of the plot for me, as much as I was there to see that his relationship, that he lived up to his word. He's like, in the end of the last movie, he's like, I will find you and I'll remind you who I am. Like, that was the movie I came to see. And God damn it if they didn't give me that fucking movie. And I loved that movie. What I didn't know, but you know, what we all figured out over the course of the last 2 months, spoilers, is that low key we were getting a fucking X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Like, we got 2 fucking movies in one and neither suffered for it. This wasn't an example of like, how many Batman villains can we squeeze into this fucking movie and stuff like that? Or how many Marvel heroes can we squeeze into this fucking movie and stuff like that? But that being said, like, it is 2 movies in one and both are fucking satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
You know how hard that is to pull off one satisfying movie, let alone to pull off 2 in the midst of one fucking sausage casing? Holy fuck. So this film, I'm not going to say like it did the impossible, because again, I'm pre-sold. I'm in the bag for this stuff. I wish they'd give me money. I wish I was a shill, but I just happen to love all this stuff. But by the end of this, I was like, fuck the multiverse. Get me to the mutant saga as quickly as possible, because I love what they're doing so far. I love the fan. Again, spoilers, kids. I don't know anybody who don't know this yet, but Sadie Sink plays a character in the movie who is integral to the future of the mutant saga. Spoilers. Yes, motherfucker. Of course, she plays Jean Grey. But I didn't watch Stranger Things, so I'm unfamiliar with the actor's work. But they must trust the fuck out of her. And what I saw in that movie, I liked everything. I was like, wow, that's fucking wonderful. Like, what a great performance. But she is going to be the spine of the fucking mutant saga, because we all know what happens to Jean Grey. She hits the iceberg eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And they laid perfect fucking groundwork for this in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like, it'll probably be 10 pictures before she goes Dark Phoenix. But we'll remember the groundwork that was laid in Brand New Day to get her there. Like, her, spoilers, losing her sister, finding out there was no maternal love for her. One of the most beautiful moments in this movie, you know, is the big battle really comes down to a quiet moment inside Peter's head where a poor girl who never really got mothered got to speak to somebody who gave a shit and told her that she was smart and good. Fucking beautiful. A goddamn beautiful moral lesson to end the movie on, man. Especially because we saw some of the greatest action sequences. Fucking Spider-Man fighting Hulk. Spider-Man and Punisher fighting Hulk. That one shot, which I'm sure we'll all see to death, of Spider-Man swinging, fucking webbing Frank, sliding him under the floor as Hulk jumps over them, and fucking Punisher is just firing bullets up at him. When he comes onto the scene the first time, he's just like, oh, and he's just shooting the fucking Hulk in the face. Oh, I felt like a fucking 10-year-old. I was like, more of this and shit. John Barenthal is the MVP of this fucking movie. I mean, Tom Holland and Zendaya, of course, the spine. But fucking John Barenthal, like, this movie's going to make $1 billion, and he has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
They found a way to make the Punisher, and, you know, I said, oh my God, they made him PG-13. Up until fairly recently, whenever they did him in cartoons, they had to do him as PG-13. You know what I'm saying? Even in comics, it's not like he curses his full head off and shit like that, or is ultra violent. They get away with some stuff and stuff. So I don't know, like, in my head, I was like, wow, they pulled him off in PG-13, but of course they can. Why not? And especially if you're equipped with one of America's greatest acting treasures, who is John Barenthal. John Barenthal is the Punisher, fucking going like, that's a great idea. Kick rocks. was one of my favorite moments of cinema 2026. Like, in a world where he can't say motherfucker or fuck you, weaponizing kick rocks was so fucking satisfying, but only a gifted performer could pull that off. He is so fucking likable. I'd watch 10 movies about fucking Spider-Man and Frank Castle just having that big brother, younger brother relationship, man. It was unexpected. I mean, I knew he was going to be in the movie, but I thought like we'd get one scene like we saw in the trailer and that's it.
Yeah, no, he's a legit supporting character.
You get a healthy amount of Punisher in this movie, man. Like he belongs up on that poster. And I'm so happy for him. I know this ain't like his raison d'etre or whatever the fuck, but like this movie is going to make $1 billion. And he is a big part of that reason, man. He's one of the most enjoyable aspects of this movie. And their back and forth, like, is, you know, it's like watching Wolverine and fucking Deadpool last year, where you're like, wow, fucking, I didn't know I would enjoy that as much as I did. Getting the Smart Hulk, who we've been familiar with, and then getting the Savage Hulk. Getting that moment where, you know, he's like, no Banner, no girl, only Hulk. And he's fucking 4 times as big as Spider-Man and shit, does the thunderclap.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, as previously mentioned, watching Punisher literally unload into his fucking face bullets and him just going like that, like, oh my God, it was so fucking rich. They created a New York, a cinematic Marvel New York that felt like it. Like, I'm not saying for the first time ever, I'm sure they must have gotten close somewhere along the way and shit, but I can't think of another Marvel movie where I felt as fucking like, hey, there's one world and all these fuckers know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing when you're doing Civil War and like, look at them all together. They're all on the same page or whatever the fuck. But this gave a real sense of New York community that the comics were known for and that ran rampant in the publishing version of all these stories, man. That made me happy in and of itself. Like, you know, we've spent a lot of time with Spider-Man. But we spent time with him out in Queens, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
We spent time with him over in the UK, in Europe, which was great and fun. Then we spent time with him in New York, but it was New York where fucking other Spider-Men were coming in and shit, plus all the villains and whatnot. So fuck the background. The foreground had us captivated and shit. But this movie feels like Spider-Man in the comics and feels like Marvel comics in general, in as much as like something big happened, something worthy of telling a story, but it wasn't an Avengers level threat where it's like the whole fucking world's in jeopardy. Could be down the road and shit, but it localized fucking horror that a couple of heroes together had to fucking deal with, man. That felt like Marvel team up of my childhood, man. Like it just, yes, we've seen the cover recreations in the trailers leading up to the movie. And as we saw in the movie, those are quick pops as suspected. It's not like you spend a lot of time with Tarantula. You don't spend a lot of time with Tombstone at all. Like they got a lot of story to tell and that's not part of it, but they do an opening montage of 4 years of those kids going off to MIT where Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is by himself and just doing the thing. They introduced the character of Jean DeWolf, which I fucking love. Character, if I remember correctly, created by Peter David, if not killed by Peter David, in a very classic story called The Death of Jean DeWolf. But this, I'm not saying none of the Spider-Mans felt like comic books. They all did. But this really felt like a Spider-Man comic book. Not like, hey, Spider-Man's teaming up with the Avengers, or hey, Spider-Man. This felt like a Spider-Man fucking adventure in Spider-Man's world with Spider-Man stakes. It was adorable that they had, Black Widow show up to be like, this is small potatoes. We are big potatoes. You do small potatoes, which is crazy because it's like Peter Parker was up in space with Thanos. He literally punched Thanos in the face. Where were you, Yelena? But nobody remembers Peter Parker. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, and maybe, and she wasn't around for the snaps. Maybe she didn't know what an integral role my man played and stuff. But it felt like that was a nice addition too. Even having her in the movie was just like, hey man, the world is real. And as a guy who comes from a world similar to Peter Parker, in as much as like we were not halves as kids and whatnot. I had two loving parents. You know, I wasn't raised by my aunt and stuff. My parents weren't dead, but we were have-nots and whatnot. That's the working class hero right there. Like, that's the Bruce Springsteen of fucking superhero set, man. And God damn it, if they did not tell that story, like the kid who heart of gold, who hero by day or by night, and then during the day it's like struggling to make it all come together. We see he has help. We see he's embedded in New York and whatnot, works with the cops, and then we find out that damage control has taken on a much larger role in the Marvel universe, particularly in New York and whatnot. It's also a detention center as well. I mean, this has been a part of the Spider-Man mythos now since, what was the first or second one? Where he was trapped inside damage control at one point.
Yeah, when Tyne Daly, as an agent of damage control, starts the Vulture story.
That's right, the Vulture story. So, you know, as a return to sorts, still felt within the same fucking universe and whatnot. But they give you the sense of, you know, we've spent so much time with Spider-Man off-world or in other places. You really get the sense of like, oh yeah, fucking like he's New Yorker sees him as one of them. Like, and he's good with the cops. You know, he ain't like, you know, Batman where he's good with one fucking cop and shit like that. You see him surviving, you know, in a world without Aunt May, who winds up playing a pretty integral role in the flick. And then you know, his old world folds over on his current life when he sees Ned and MJ went off to MIT, and then they come home 4 years later. And then he sees Ned at the convenience store, at the bodega, if you will.
Yes.
And then follows him back to where he is. And apparently Ned is roommates with MJ. They remain friends, and they know Spider-Man, and they know that Spider-Man saved them a few times in high school, but they don't know that it's Peter. Ned has built the Spidey tracker because he's kind of obsessed with Spider-Man and whatnot. And he tells Peter introduces himself as Maynard there and whatnot. Because again, he could have said Peter Parker. They don't even fucking know who he is and shit.
Yeah.
But you know, Ned tells him, he's like, I just want to, not to expose Spider-Man, I just want to maybe meet him one day and thank him. Like, shit like that just fucking touches me so much. So then he re-meets MJ and sees her in real life for the first time and whatnot. And eventually he sees her share a kiss with her boyfriend, and that fucking triggers him. And he goes running in the rain across the rooftops and whatnot. And we get a series of flashbacks to what brought us here and how, you know, their first kiss, and then him leaving her behind and going like, I'll find you and stuff like that. And then he goes home and he starts not feeling well, and his arm is weird and pulsing or whatever the fuck, and his eyes are going black, like all spider black and shit, and then he passes out. Then he has the first time we head into like a view of his bedroom, and Aunt May joins him in the bedroom and sits down on the bed and talks to Peter Parker, and you get the impression this was a conversation that happened after the first movie, say, where she knew who he was. And so they start having a conversation, and then it gets cut off. He wakes up, and you've seen the moment in the trailer. He's surrounded with all the webs and shit like that. He's going through some sort of metamorphosis, you know, and no explanation, at least for him, but clearly something emotional triggered it. And it was seeing MJ. Maybe it's the equivalent of, you know, maybe there's some metaphor here about like growing up or whatever the fuck. I'm not smart enough to see that kind of shit. I remember when the first trailer dropped, everybody's like, is that Keith David's voice talking about spiders? Maybe he plays the jackal, bitch. It's literally just a YouTube video Peter's listening to while he's putting together his web shooters and stuff. He winds up with organic web shooters, which he acknowledges Peter 2 had in the last movie. Gross. Then he says super gross, and he has to learn how to deal with these organic web shooters. He tries to put his normal web shooters on top of them. They don't work together. He's now got his web shooters to a place where he can do web grenades, where he takes it off, throws it, explodes, and just fucking webs everything up and shit. So he wants to find out what's up with him. I think, or is it what first does he take on Scorpion? Well,
he takes on Scorpion and almost kills a cop. And then
so
realizes
is that when he goes to see Bruce Banner?
Then he goes to see Bruce because he knows he's changing, and he sees that Bruce has the fucking inhibitor that keeps him from turning into the Hulk. Maybe I can use that to tamp down this whole genetic metamorphosis that he's going through.
And let's take it back, kids, to there's a tank, breaking loose and running through the streets of Manhattan. Somebody stole a fucking tank and they're headed to or from damage control. I think to damage control. So Spider-Man goes to intercept it and get involved. And that's where he runs into the Punisher for the first time. And the exchange you see in the trailer where the Punisher shoots him and whatnot. And Spider-Man swings through the windshield and kicks him out the back of the van and then webs his mouth so he can't curse. And then Spider-Man eventually stops, the tank in damage control. And then when he opens it up, there's a lady inside who you would never imagine would be driving a tank, let alone firing the guns or anything like that. And then you start seeing this shit, the Inhabited, everyone doing this, as somebody, as our mutant presence, as one of the most powerful telepaths in the world, starts learning how to jump from person to person. That's Jean Grey. They play it as a mystery the whole time, but there's somebody who's fucking jumping from person to person and can actually communicate with Peter, because they try to jump into Peter's mind. Peter pushes them out and shit. And Jean, who we learn later on is Jean, but they don't tell us this for like a good hour. She's fascinated by the fact that, hey man, you pushed me out, that's new and stuff. And she's on a mission. She's got some beef with damage control, it seems like. But they play her like she's a bad guy through most of the thing, jumping around, taking. And at one point, she's trying to. It's the old superhero trope of "you stay out of my way, Spider-Man." Like that's her big beef with Spider-Man. She's trying to do something, take revenge against some fucker at damage control. And Spider-Man, being Spider-Man, the hero, he's like, I got to stop her and whatnot. And so they're at cross purposes. But classic comic book fucking trope. Two heroes who are like, we have to fight for reasons, and then realize they shouldn't be fighting at all. Let's fight the power instead. So she gets to the place where she's like jumping into people and talking to Peter. Like at one point, Peter's fighting the Scorpion and he's like, man, Scorpion, you want more of this? And Scorpion's like, you think I'm Scorpion? And that's when Peter realizes that he's dealing with the jumper again, the telepath. And the telepath starts talking about like MJ and going to get MJ and fucking maybe I'll pop by and see MJ and shit like that. So while he's fighting the Scorpion, Spider-Man goes ham, gets those black eyes, his spider, fucking hormones go higher than his human hormones, and he freaks the fuck out and beats the shit out of the Scorpion, rips his tail off, almost kills a fucking cop as he slams him against a cop car and stuff. And Jean DeWolf is like, hey man, you gotta go get your head straight. I can't defend you if like this is how you're gonna be and stuff. So that's when Peter goes off to Empire State University and goes to sit on a class with Dr. Bruce Banner, Professor Bruce Banner, who everyone in the class knows was an Avenger because he acknowledges it and tells the story. Like his students are like, hey man, what happened? They do a really funny what if where they're like, why couldn't Thanos use the magic glove just to make more food for everybody? Fucking nobody's got a good answer and shit. And he asked the one guy, he's like, you? And the dude whose face painted like the Hulk just stands up and he's like, Hulk smash! And Banner's like, there you go. There's why.
And moving on.
So Peter eventually comes to talk to Bruce Banner, as we've seen in the trailer, and starts asking him all these smart kid questions where Bruce Banner's like, what'd you say your name was? And once again, Bruce Banner don't know who Peter Parker is. He may know who Spider-Man is, but that's irrelevant to the scene. He has no idea who Peter Parker is. And did they interact or was Peter gone?
When?
In Infinity War, or no? They never really crossed paths, did they?
Yeah, in Infinity War they did. And when the Maw shows up at Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, they have the big fight in the streets. Hulk and Spider-Man are
and
fighting.
Bruce can't change.
Right. You
But
know,
he
so
doesn't
like,
really interact with Spider-Man that much. I can't remember any times they've ever really interacted in the Marvel
yeah,
universe.
it's a crossing thing, really. It's like we're in New York and Spidey's here. He answers the call from his school bus crossing the 59th Street Bridge and swings back into Central Park, or I guess that's probably Madison Square Park, and they start doing some shit. And then I think they have maybe a something in I'm sorry, in Endgame, but not very much because Peter gets snapped away towards the end
I think they're both at the funeral for
yeah.
Tony Stark. But here they share a lot of fucking screen time. So even though the world has forgotten who Peter Parker is, thanks to the spell at the end of No Way Home, I don't know necessarily that Bruce Banner would have been like, "Oh, Peter Parker." You know what I'm saying? Although at that point, remember, the whole world knows Peter Parker is Spider. Well, it did up until
JJ does magic, fucking newscaster shit and drops dime and reveals his identity.
In the comics, they did, they did One More Day where fucking Peter gave up his marriage and everything. And they did a similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking people did not remember or know Peter Parker and Spider-Man, the same person. And there's a really poignant, I forget which book it's in. There's a really poignant moment with the Hulk and Spider-Man where Hulk refers to him as Peter, and Spider-Man is like, how do you know? Because nobody has called him Peter in a long time because of the spell or whatever. And the Hulk says, Banner forget, Hulk not forget. Such a sweet fucking moment. So the interplay between these two scientists, young and old and whatnot, was really nerdy and fun and whatnot. And so he's going to ask the Hulk, or Bruce Banner, who's wearing an inhibitor now, can control the Hulk. And, like, hey, is there a way to isolate, your genes, and so that so a person hypothetically could stop a mutation and just tamp down on certain things. And then Bruce Banner's like, yeah, I guess in theory, but who gets to decide what's good? Like, how do you know what's good? Maybe you're tamping down an expression that needs to be expressed or whatever the fuck. So Peter's trying to control the spider in him and be more man than spider. And I guess there's got to be some sort of theme there that, I'm too stupid to fucking articulate. But Jean Grey this whole time is nonstop mission to get to damage control. Peter creates this inhibitor that keeps his, fucking senses down, because when his spider sense was going off the charts, the whole world was loud, fucking, he's too much spider in him and shit. So he creates this scientific inhibitor. It's a really funny scene. Like Frank Castle, the Punisher, hangs out in this fucking boatyard, it's booby trapped like fucking crazy and shit. And Peter's talking about having a fucking, Spider-Man's talking about having to fix this thing, like the inhibitor. And he's like, I need like a dust-free mat, like a fucking this tool and that tool. And fucking Punisher's like, I got all that shit. And he's like, why? And MJ's like, bombs. So what happens is Jean threatens Spider-Man through people as Spider-Man is trying to chase her down again and whatnot. Spider-Man actually gets her. Like, Spider-Man chases her to a helicopter and shit. We learn, because Spider-Man uses AI he belt called Evie or something like that. Or Eve, I don't know what it is. But not Tony's AI from back in the day. But, they do an analysis and realize, hey man, this person, she can only jump within 33 feet. She can't mind jump, teleport into the brain of somebody who's over 33 feet away. So Spider-Man rather, isolates her in this helicopter while she's in the body of some guy. And he's like, you can't jump nowhere and shit. And she's like, very clever, in the body of this guy. So that gives Spider-Man rather, a chance to swing off. And he goes to MJ's apartment. We've seen the scene in the trailer where he comes to the window. He's like, you have to come with me. You're in danger. And she's like, I'm not going with you. You can be anybody. And she's like, how do I know you're the real Spider-Man? And he's like, I told you once that I would find you and I'd keep you safe. Please just come with me. And she's like, fine. And she goes with him, and he swings around Manhattan with her and shit like that, and then takes her to Frank Castle, and he asks Frank Castle keep her safe essentially so he could go off and do this thing, face off against Jean at Damage Control, because then they see another, oh shit, Jean's invading Damage Control. They figure out who she is because at one point, you know, some guy driving a my friend just said, I'm watching you live. What up, Janet? They said, you know, hey man, a driver came, like an Uber driver and shit, came up to Peter and was like, I could do this all day and shit like that. You gotta fucking get your act together. And Gene was in the back of the car. And so homeboy's fucking specs got a snapshot of her as she was turning. And so they start the internet search for it and shit like that. So that's when they find out and they say her name, like halfway through the movie. Like her name is, she's nowhere up until a few weeks ago. Now she's fucking everywhere. And then the Damage Control scrubbed all of her records. Her name is Jean Grey. And that's the moment in the theater when we went to the Screen X screening, which was so enthusiastic and energetic, a room full of hardcore fucking fans. As soon as they said the name, everyone was like, wow. Because right then there was the birth of the mutant saga, kids. Like, we saw the fucking future and shit. So Peter's gonna go, Spider-Man's gonna go confront Jean Grey at Damage Control, and he's got this inhibitor now that if he could get it on her, then, you know, he could stop her from jumping and shit like that. And Frank then, you know, as Spider-Man leaves, then MJ says to the Punisher, like, you're not gonna go with him and shit, because Punisher don't want to babysit MJ and stuff, and says as much. And she's like, you should be going with him. He needs you, just like you needed him in Staten Island. They refer to some Staten Island episode incident where Spider-Man saved the Punisher's ass and shit like that. So he feels indebted of some sort. So Spider-Man goes to the Damage Control, and when he gets there, you know, there's some damage all over the fucking place, and it looks like it went through hell. And then he talks to Jean through another fucking body and shit. And, you know, somebody's trying to get in to the main hub where, what's the guy's name? Metzger? What is it?
Metzger.
The guy who runs Damage Control.
Yeah, played by the great Tremel Tillman.
I asked Mark, I was like, what is he on? And Mark said, Severance, bitch. And I was like, oh. I haven't watched Severance that much. So he's like, you know, hey man, if we can get a hold of this person, you know, who know these people have incredible abilities, is a child with this power. Could you imagine, like, in the hands, what good it could be used for, blah, blah, blah. And so at first Spider-Man's on board with fucking Damage Control, but then he's starting to be suspicious of him based on a little bit later on after he helps fucking capture Jean. So he goes to Damage Control, and there's all this fucking damage. And we see that Jean has taken control of the Incredible Hulk, of Bruce Banner, and turned him into Smart Hulk. And Smart Hulk has been pounding on the walls to try to get to Metzger and his crew and stuff. But Spider-Man shows up. Spider-Man has a like Hulk fight and shit like that. And it's fucking wondrous to watch these two. And it's Smart Hulk, man. So we're used to seeing him. And last time we saw him was Avengers.
Still had a shirt on.
Endgame. Yeah. But I mean, so he's got a sweater on, and Jean's controlling him and shit like that. Spider-Man eventually fucking bests him and knocks him down, knocks Jean out of him, essentially. You know, where Jean is like fucking can't control him and stuff. So that frees him up, you know, Bruce Banner, and Bruce Banner starts, he's like, oh, I can't hold him back anymore. And suddenly you're like, oh shit. And, you know, Jean fucking with his head tripped him. And so fucking Bruce Banner, uncontrolled by Jean Grey. At first, Jean Grey controlled him and turned him into Smart Hulk. Mm-hmm. Now fucking she triggered him, and he can't help it. And he fucking goes and like, get out of here. Get away from me. Because you know he's going to go fucking nuclear and shit. And then he turns into the fucking Savage Hulk, who we haven't seen in a long ass time. Like maybe since the first Avengers, bam, bam, bam.
Which he does to Spider-Man.
Which he does to Spider-Man, but then there's a nice moment where he does that twice, and then he's not in Spider-Man's hand anymore. He turns around and look for him. Spider-Man's crawling on his back and on his head and shit like that. So you get to see Spider-Man fight the Hulk, and it's a gigantic version of Hulk who does the fucking thunderclap and sends fucking Spider-Man flying and shit like that. It's bliss, comic book bliss, man. Destin Daniel Cretton created a brilliant fucking sequence where we get to watch something that we've always wanted to see on the big screen, man. Fucking like these three heroes in one fucking scene. Watching the Punisher shoot the Hulk in the fucking face, I can't tell you how satisfying it is, because I know it ain't gonna hurt Hulk and shit like that. And watching John Barenthal play the surprise of like, I am outgunned. Like I came here to help the kid. I should not be here. Like I can't fucking get anything done here.
Are you scared, Frank? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, are you doing this because you want to fight the Hulk? And he's like, yeah, pretty much. He's got a very like lurch that he does throughout the movie where he's like got an old man growl and shit about Spider-Man and shit. So we get a three-way fight scene, and I'm telling you, man, one of the like, you know, that fucking shot from the Avengers where they all, you know, fucking come together and we go around them, and the one from Age of Ultron where they all freeze in midair. That shot of Spider-Man, Punisher being dragged across the floor, firing fucking machine gun up at the Hulk as he leaps through the air, will live on well beyond this movie, and will always be used as an example of, hey kids, comics, like honestly, one of the best visuals in a Marvel movie of all time. Joyous to watch, impressive. And fucking, of course, they did it in slow-mo, so you could milk it for every second it was worth. Oh, absolutely beautiful. So Peter eventually gets the inhibitor onto Jean's neck, and that powers her down. She can't jump anymore and stuff. And, you know, if you're dumb, you're like, well, there it is. The adventure has come to an end. All that's left is Peter and his personal life. And his personal life, kids, is interesting, to say the least. MJ's hanging out with him, and there's a great fucking scene before Jean Grey gets captured. One of my favorites in the movie, because it really played with your head and heart, where he's got MJ when he went to rescue her and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he brings her to, like, you know, the top of this building and shit. And they have this moment where she's like, I know you. Like, there's a reason, like, you keep saving us. Like, I knew you were something more important, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, that can't be. And she starts saying, like, did we mean something to each other? Like, were you in our lives? Were we friends? And you're going like, MJ figured this shit out before is happening and stuff. And you could see the hope in this fucking, I mean, he's wearing a fucking mask, and you can still see the hope in Peter Parker's eyes as he, like, everything he's dreamed about for the first half of this movie. Oh my God, she's going to remember me and shit. And she lifts up his mask so it's just his mouth, and she kisses him and shit. And then she breaks the kiss and says, Peter, and he gets so happy, bro. Like, you know, Black Widow described him as the sad boy. He gets so happy, glassy eyed. He's like, oh my God, like, I've missed you so much. And I was rolling tears because I'm like, yeah, this is the moment we've been waiting for since the end of the last movie. And then they fuck us so hard in the best possible way. One of those moments where I'm like, I'm a writer and I didn't see that coming and shit, because I wanted it so bad. I wanted that sweet resolution for those sweet kids. When you find out where Jean says through MJ, like, does that, you know, that's it, Peter, like, kiss her. Like, isn't it good to hold her again? And you realize that's not MJ at all, that it's Jean has puppeteered her and shit. And then watching his expression, because he's taken off his mask and whatnot, and watching him fucking wither and melt. And at one point he calls her, like, you know, you've heard people in life be like, you're a monster. When he fucking says it, like, I felt the same way. I was like, that is fucking monstrous to do to this poor boy. For 4 years, all he's dreamed about is the moment when fucking he'll reunite with MJ and she'll be like, Peter, I've missed you so much. And he had that moment, and we all as an audience got to experience it. We were like, woo. And then to be like, no, bitches, you didn't see that coming. Like, you didn't know that was going to be fucking Jean. Oh, that's some fantastic writing. And it was insanely well played. Just a brilliant sequence. And I was so angry, but so happy at the same time to be surprised. So lovely to go into a movie and be surprised still. And I, again, I should have seen it coming. I know there are people in the audience who were like, you didn't see that coming and shit in that fucking, Quicksilver kind of way. But I did not see that coming. That was so well played because I wanted it. I wanted that for him. I like that little Spider Boy. He's a nice kid. So that scene was wonderful and shit. But that's before he takes her to the Punisher and shit. And so back at Damage Control, Jean's been captured. Spider-Man comes back to, where MJ was hanging out at Punisher's fucking hideout. And she has found the note. The note which he wrote and was bringing to the coffee shop at the end of the last movie, plays a prominent role in this movie. He's kept it, as well as the coffee cup that she gave him that day. And just like he didn't read her the note like he wanted to, and she was like, is there anything else? And they do that nice push in. He's got the glassy eyes and he's like, no, because he wants his friends to have a happy life, and he knows they can't if Spider-Man is their friend and shit like that. So he has to let it go. So he's holding on to that note and he's rereading it and shit like that. And so he'd had it in his hand when he was at Frank's place, fell asleep, got up, went off on a mission and shit. So when he comes back, he's like, MJ, we did it. We caught her and Jean. And he comes back into like the kitchen, the galley where she is, and she's got the fucking note and she's reading the note. And this to me was one of the movie moments where it's just like, why are you mad? Like, like she was kind of mad. Am I wrong?
I mean, she's mad. She doesn't understand, I don't think. And I think the idea that something had been kept from her, something that he intended to tell her and didn't.
And to be fair, in the letter, I don't think he goes into detail of like Doctor Strange and there's a magical fucking hex and all that shit. And for all she knows, like, what do you mean you fucking wiped my mind? Why don't I remember you? We were boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know. So she takes the kind of like, this is weirding me out. I don't like this so much. And she tells him, like, he tells her, he's like, look, man, I fucking every day I missed you. And like, I just like, I love you. Like I love you. And that's the thing. Last time, he went to tell her that on the roof at the end of the last one. She was like, I love you. And he went to say it. And she was like, don't. Oh, it's gonna make me cry. She's like, don't tell me when you see me again next time. So he finally gets to fucking tell her that he loves her. And it's so heartbreaking because she's like, I don't have any of these memories. Like, I don't doubt that you love this girl, but this girl like doesn't exist. I'm her and I don't have any of these memories. So how could I possibly love somebody I just found out about? You know what I'm saying? And it's such a nut kick Peter Parker moment, man. Like Peter Parker is essentially grown up Charlie Brown with hair. If something can go wrong, life will pull the football away from this poor fucking kid. And yet again, as heartbreaking as that moment was, that's classic fucking Peter Parker right there, man. Like he lives an O. Henry life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always this bittersweet. I bought you a comb, and to do that, I sold off my watch. Well, I bought you a fucking fob for your watch. In order to do that, I've cut off my fucking hair. Like this poor motherfucker can't catch a goddamn break. So she asked to like, can you bring me home and shit? So he brings her, he swings her through the city in some of the most desultory, sad swinging you've ever seen in a Spider-Man movie. Generally when he swings, it's fucking joyous. But this is like that car ride home with your boyfriend or girlfriend after you've had a fight. Everyone's just kind of quiet and shit. So he gets her back to her apartment. He's about to leave and she's like, would you like to come up and say hi to Ned? And he's like, I would love that. And so he goes upstairs and there's a funny beat where Ned's got Spidey on a Spidey tracker and he's like, MJ, it says he's right here. And then he turns around and Spider-Man is right there and shit.
And he drops his X-Wing.
Yes, he drops his X-Wing. They have this hangout moment where they get to be friends again. Like Ned don't know that Spider-Man is Peter Parker and that he used to know Peter Parker. Only MJ knows this. So when, he's like, how'd you two meet? She's like, oh, he rescued me subway platform, something like that. So they just kind of hang out. And Ned, I guess, is picking his brain. Like, what about this? If you're swinging, you got to take a whiz. You just stop on a rooftop. What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And MJ is like, these are the questions you want to ask him and stuff. He's like, yes. Like, this is all the stuff I want to know. And so, like, Spider-Man, he's still got his mask on. He's like, this is the best time I've had in years. And you fucking buy it, because for the first time in 4 years, his life is close to what it used to be. Like, you got to remember, he was friends with these cats, even like as he was becoming Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So and they've been on so many adventures together, and just sitting around the apartment, like putting together Legos and bullshitting while she draws them both. And she shows him a drawing later on. She's like, you guys look like friends. You know, she drew him with his mask off because she knows what he looks like and stuff, next to Ned. Just really fucking sweet stuff. And then, you know, he tells MJ, because he's so fucking noble. He tells her, he's like, while you were, I thought it was you, but when Jean was in control, she kissed me. And he's like, you know, I thought it was you. I just thought I should tell you I'm sorry. And she's like, I appreciate you telling me. She's like, but I didn't remember anything. Like, it's like, you know, light switch went off. I was home, and then suddenly I woke up someplace else. He's like, wait a second. You said you didn't remember anything. So he talked to the guy, Metzger, from Damage Control, and the Damage Control guy said that there's a name, you know, there's this word that fucking Gene was looking through the files for. It was a VTech or VMAX?
VMAX. But also Tremel. Metzger had said Sarah.
There was a name, Sarah, and you know, Peter said, or Spider-Man says, there's a name, Sarah. Does that mean anything to you? And he was like, well, when she had me, I heard a name, Sarah, or whatever. So he essentially said something that when MJ was like, well, I don't remember shit from when I got taken over. Peter's like, well, wait a second. That guy said he remembered. And then Peter's like, that guy fucking lied to me and shit. So then he's going to head over to Damage Control because he realizes, oh, fuck. Like, I just helped them catch Jean and fucking, and they've pieced together. Have they pieced together at this point that she has a sister? Yes.
Yeah, Sarah. Once she gets the name, once he gets the name Sarah, he kind of puts two and two together. And
did she have a sister in the comics?
I don't remember.
So then they cut back to Jean at Damage Control, where she's in this like fake bedroom and shit. And that guy Metzger is there, and he's like, you know, Jean, this is your sister's legacy. You know, you're more powerful than your sister, and we're gonna see how we can use this power. And if we can map your brain when you take jumps, maybe we could teach other brains to do that same thing and stuff. So let's begin. They lift the walls up. She's in like a translucent kind of cell, and then they start forcing her to fucking jump, based on technology they built using Sarah, her sister, you know. And she's like, I know my sister was in this fucking room and shit like that. And they're like, let's begin. And they keep forcing her to fucking jump. And it looks like they're going to give her a fucking stroke because they keep forcing her brain. And you see her like jump only so far and then have to come back because there's nowhere for her to jump. And meanwhile, they're fucking mapping her brain as it happens and shit. Like, but it looks like they're going to fucking give this kid a stroke. And if, you know, the Metzger says like, this is your sister's legacy. Legacy is a word that generally communicates somebody ain't there anymore. You know what I'm saying? So at one point, Jean is like just fucking mind fucked, you know, by the constant jumps they're making her do. And her head is back and she's looking up, and we see the air conditioning vent. We go closer and closer on it. And you see like, it says V Tech, like Vent Tech or something like that, or Vent Max, V Max, Vent Max is a sticker, just the name of the fucking vent in the air conditioning. And then that's when Jean pieces together that the message she had gotten from her sister sent her a telepathic message about VMAX. So she was looking through Damage Control files for a VMAX file or something like that. But really, it was just the last thing she saw before she died in that room after having a stroke from all the jumps, presumably, they made her do. As she saw that word up on the ceiling and sent it to her fucking sister. So at that moment, Jean realizes, like, my sister died in this fucking room. And you got to remember, this is the kid who will eventually go Black Phoenix. So Jean is one of the most powerful mutant telepaths on the planet. And we get a taste of it when she unleashes her fucking rage when she realizes her sister's dead. And fucking essentially she does a, you know, her mind goes off like a fucking bomb, a psionic bomb, and goes like a kilometer, a mile in every direction and whatnot. You see this wave hit all these fucking people and they fucking freeze like they're mid-stroke and shit like that. So at one point earlier in the movie, when, you know, she's in her cell, she has a flashback to a day that she was in the park with her sister, and her sister's teaching her how to jump and how to, like, that person's too far away. She's like, but you can use those 4 people, jump, 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 and then get to that one over there and stuff. And then when you let go, you're just going to go right back to where you started. So her sister was teaching her how to fucking jump and stuff. In that moment, when she realizes her sister's dead by seeing the VMAX sticker up there, she loses it and fucking, you know, shows off her power in a way that I don't even think she was probably intending to.
Yeah, I think she mutates, like her brain, you know, it upshifts and it becomes something new.
And so boom, blows out the windows and the doors and shit like that. And Spider-Man realizes, like, I got to get to her. I got to save her. This is all my fault and stuff. And he gets to damage control and everybody's fucking frozen. I forgot to point this out earlier. There's one of the only things I bumped into in the entire fucking movie. And I realize in comics you get away with this left and right. But for some reason, this was the one thing when I was watching it going, what? Damage control at one point is like, hey, we hired the Hand. You know, they're our security team. And I was like, all right, it's a comic book movie. I'll go. Like, in a world where I'll accept like the telepathic girl and the man who turns into the monster and keeps his pants. I don't know why I was like, what do you mean the Hand is hired as security? But I saw Frank Miller came out and fucking said, this movie's wonderful. And I was so happy to see the Hand in it. He didn't bump into it one iota. It's not like he makes any money from it. So it's not like he was like, cha-ching. He was like, I was happy with the usage of it. So perhaps me bumping into it was fucking pointless. But for some reason, that one hit me. Again, movie's full of fantastical ideas. But for some reason in my head, there was a governor of going like, you don't hire the Hand to be your security. You know, but the point of damage control is they're doing experiments like on people. So I don't know, maybe they fucked with the Hand or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But in any event, the Hand works there. So that allows Peter at one point to have a beautiful crouching tiger, hidden dragon fight with the Hand, which at that point I was like, well, that's why you include the Hand in the movie. You know, just so you could do that fucking sequence, which was fantastic. And we've seen it in the trailer where the Hand are all fucking coming through the air at him in slow-mo and shit. Or the one's coming with the sword and he captures it with the web and then fucking snaps it. Because Jean is like, you know, who the fuck are you, man? You're not Peter Parker, you're not Spider-Man. Which are you? And finally, Spider-Man is like, I'm both. And he rips the thing off his neck and goes full spider and shit. Not full spider. He's got multiple arms, but he finds a way to go feral spider with the black eyes, but not fucking hurt anybody and not go ham and not lose his control. For example, he fucking throws a Hand guy and the Hand guy is sailing back toward fucking sharp edges and shit. Then he webs him to stop him. So it's like, there's the feral spider. There's the fucking man who was raised right and shit like that. And then it gets down to him and Jean. He eventually fights through the Hand and gets to Jean. And, you know, Jean is still holding the whole world at bay. And she's like, you come any closer, I'm going to fucking kill everybody. You know, like, she's got them all and she could do it. Meanwhile, outside, the Punisher has seen a wall of psionic energy that he can't get through. And he's got to figure out something else. So he drives around it all, goes to a rooftop, and starts setting up the fucking massive ass sniper rifle and shit. The idea being like, and he's said it a few times in the movie, he's like, I'll deal with her my way. You're like, never mind fucking curing her. This a bullet will fucking cure her and shit. So in the foreground, though, the action is Peter confronting Jean. And Jean, you know, she's like, you're still worried I'm getting in your mind. I'll get in your mind. And he's like, go ahead. And he just lets her into his mind. And so we've seen 2 times versions of this scene where Peter's in his room and Aunt May comes to see him. And then we see the 3rd iteration of this. And it's really fucking quite beautiful because it's this moment where, you know, post May finding out he's Spider-Man at the end of, you know, fucking Homecoming, where she's like, what the fuck? And has this discussion with him. Oh, you don't have to listen to me anymore because you're a big superhero and shit. And while she's having this conversation with him, Jean switches places with Peter. So Jean is talking to Aunt May, or rather Aunt May is speaking to Jean. Now, earlier in that scene with Jean and her sister, at one point they see a mom in the park playing with her kid. And there's this kind of quiet moment between them where they look at each other and they start talking about like essentially, isn't it fucked up that our mother gave us up? You know, and her sister's like, look, she couldn't handle it. She didn't understand what this was. We don't need her. We got each other and stuff like that. So you realize these kids are fucking untethered. You know, we're starting the mutant saga, and we've seen all the old fucking X-Men movies, and we've read the comics, so we know that this is not a world that accepts them and whatnot. So we're starting to see the beginnings of that. So Jean, for lack of a better description, didn't have a loving older voice in her life to just say positive things to her, or fucking be there for a check-in, all the things people take for granted with their own parents, you know, like fucking just simple humanity shared with another person who cares about you and shit. So in that moment, Aunt May is having that discussion she had with Peter, but now she's having it with Jean, and almost in real time, even though Aunt May is no longer with us. And essentially, I can't remember it word for word, but what it comes down to is her saying, you are smart and good. Like, just validating the poor girl who never had fucking validation and was feared by her own mother. And so tell me if I'm wrong, Mark, but the moment I got out of that was just like, she had a heart-to-heart with an adult that gave a fuck, and it made all the difference in the fucking world. You know, this is a kid who like watched adults steal her fucking sister and then found out that they killed her fucking sister. Every adult in her life has either betrayed or abandoned her. And here's this mother figure, this maternal figure, this adult who is not abandoning her and not fucking, you know, scared of her or being like, get out of here and shit. And you see what makes Peter, why Spider-Man is the way he is. Why he's not vengeful and bitter and shit like that. Like, he had Aunt May, and for that moment, she gets Aunt May and gets the full fucking bull bore brunt of the same sort of affection and care that Peter used to get from his aunt. A transference, if you will. She feels in that moment cared for. Somebody gave a fuck and said, how are you? And you know, you're special. And sometimes the world is going to make you feel like an asshole for being special, but fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like in this movie, of course, it makes absolute sense, but anybody sitting there watching that movie can take that fucking speech into heart and apply it to their own fucking life, man. We're all special. And sooner or later, the world always fucking tries to make us feel like an asshole. But never forget, man, that you're unique. You know, and there ain't nothing wrong with being a butterfly or a fucking snowflake. Those are individual things that happen only fucking once, and they don't repeat in the exact same patterns and stuff. So it was just so beautiful. It reminded me of like the end of, you know, Thunderbolts, which was all about like depression. Like the fucking the enemy you can't fucking see is, you know, fucking trauma, depression, sadness. So there was a touch of that here where it's like, you know, it's not as simple as like, you know, fucking she just needed a good talking to by an adult, but she didn't have that. And so, and add to it, they fucking killed her sister. Like, she'd be excused for fucking like turning into a human weapon. But she has this moment and winds up going a completely different way because of it, you know, like fucking, what'd you get out of that?
The thing that bonds both Jean and Peter is that they are in a self-imposed isolation. Like, that has been Peter's life for the last 4 years, in which he won't connect with anybody for fear that he will, you know, damage their lives. He'll affect them adversely. So he keeps himself in a shell. And Jean Grey has been the same thing. You know, the like, I can't ever be close to anybody. I can't trust any adults. They'll betray me, whatever. And by the end of that married, you know, the end of that Aunt May scene, it is, you have to be able to connect. You have to be able to reach out. You have to be able to share yourself with somebody else in order for you to become who you're going to be. You're special, and that's fun. There'll be somebody who sees you for that as well. Granted, that will also drive her into the arms of Charles Xavier, who will do worse things to her than
maybe not this time. Maybe it'll be a cleaner Charles Xavier. Maybe there won't be that. And again, for those who are like, wait, what the fuck does she get? No, it's nothing like that. But Charles tries to do right by Jean by suppressing a lot of the hurt and the trauma. However, that ultimately winds up blowing up in their faces, creating the Dark Phoenix later.
Which is the same thing that Peter was doing with building his inhibitor, which was trying to wall off the bad side, but while retaining the good side. And it is folly.
Whereas, as Bruce Banner pointed out, he's like, how do you know what the good side is?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's opinion. You know, sometimes you got to let nature be nature and blah, blah, blah. So there's that wonderful scene. And then when she comes out of it, you know, she's better for it. And fucking like, you know, Peter's like, she was amazing, but like, you know, you don't have to do this. You could be good, blah, 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 whatever, fuck. And then Peter's, you know, fucking tingle. Here's the chom. Punisher fires his fucking sniper rifle. So Peter has to do the right thing and push Jean out of the way. And he gets hit by the fucking bullet and stuff like that. And the Punisher carries Peter into the fucking hospital. Like Jean is trying to keep him alive and stuff. Punisher carries him in the hospital. All of New York is, you know, fucking news reports up the ass about, like, they call him the reclusive Spider-Man. I'm like, this guy?
Everywhere.
Reclusive. He's fucking the city's everyman. He's fucking he's a motherfucker goes to the opening of an envelope. He's everywhere. So, but they all know he's in the hospital and shit. And they cut inside the hospital and you see him, you know, in the breathing mask. His mask is off. He's out of his costume and shit. And he wakes up and looks around. That was after Jean lets him go, because they cut to Jean and she's like kind of holding on. You find out that Jean has been like keeping
in a way that's very hand wavy, which is like, how is she keeping him alive? How does
that's what they didn't go into the deep onto the science, but you know, I don't know, just keeping him there. She was inhabiting his body maybe while he mended. They weren't super clear, but Frank, when Spider-Man wakes up, the Punisher's there by his bedside and shit. And the Punisher explains, like, you know, she did that voodoo magic shit on you. And
I was wrong about her, kid. She was keeping you alive.
Yeah. She's good. She's a good kid. And you know, Punisher, you know, maybe fucking glass eyes up talking to Peter about him almost dying. And Peter's like, are you crying, Frank? He's like, no, I ain't crying. Oh my God, John Barenthal is a fucking treasure. What a goddamn treasure. And in the role he's born to play, he's so fucking phenomenal in this movie. So he tells Peter, like, fucking, they cut up your costume and get you out. Nobody knows seen your face. He's like, I made sure of that. He's going, but I got a way to get you out of here if you're ready to go. So Peter just walks out of the hospital. And there's a whole crowd outside and shit, because Punisher showed him. He's like, look at all those people down there. They've been out here all night and shit like that. And they're holding balloons with Spider-Man's face on and shit. And New York loves Spider-Man kind of thing. And so Peter just walks out and he's standing amidst all these people who are celebrating fucking Spider-Man. Somebody's like, look, it's Spider-Man. And they don't turn to look at Peter. They all turn to look up at the window where the Punisher has put on Spider-Man's mask and he's just waving from the window and everyone's cheering him on. And he's like, whoa, having a good time with it. And Peter is just down below with the hoi polloi, feeling the love for Spider-Man. I don't know that was a theme in this movie, that's like Peter didn't feel the love, because all throughout the movie, all of New York seemed to embrace this motherfucker in a big bad way.
Yeah, this was not a Daily Bugle. This was not a J. Jonah Jameson giving him shit on the front pages story where the world is turned against him. It is the cops like him, the people like him, everybody seems to like him. They just don't know him, but they dig him. And so, yeah, to your point, it feels like what that was trying to achieve was not a problem the movie was asking to be solved, which was he needs to feel loved.
That's that too. And again, it wasn't enough for me to be like, fuck this movie. But I was like, I didn't ever get the impression he didn't understand New York didn't love him like that. And I didn't feel like he was, you know, missing. So I that moment, it works. It's not like it doesn't work, but I just don't know what that moment was exactly meant to be. And maybe somebody in chat is going to fucking explain it.
It doesn't hit the same way the subway scene in Spider-Man 2 hits, which is like fighting fucking, and they literally carry him across and they take the mask off. Oh my God, he's just a kid. He's no older than my son. If you want to get to him, you got to go through us. Like that idea that the front pages have been hating on him so hard he thought that nobody gave a shit. And then he meets the New York that actually cares for him. That scene is wonderful. This scene is trying to synthesize that same vibe, but the setup isn't quite as strong.
It's saved though by Barenthal's Spider-Man performance.
Yeah.
In the window, just like fucking. Like, and then they cut to him and he's like, "Ooh," like he's making noises and shit. So after that,
he runs into
Gene on the bus
going north,
head into a bunch of trees.
Yep.
And instantly I leaned over to my wife and I was like, she's going to Salem Center. She's heading off. And Gene learned an important lesson, as Mark pointed out, which is like, you got to learn to trust some people, Gene. They're not all fucking, out to get you and stuff. And that's an important lesson she's going to learn as she stumbles across. I don't know how they're going to get her there, but or maybe we don't even see her arriving there. Maybe by the time we go in there, she's already in the school and we've arrived there while she's been at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Oh, let me tell you. So that happens. And then, at one point, MJ, who never fucking, goes, Peter, like they show her on the rooftop spot where they always hang out and shit. And she's playing with that Black Dahlia necklace that Peter had gotten her that broke and stuff. And, she's not like, oh yeah, Peter. But you can see she figured it out last time. She's working it out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we don't see her get there, but you get the impression she's going to get there.
Yeah.
Peter stops by Aunt May's grave, says some sweet things to her and thanks her and shit. And he says, I'm not going to do it alone anymore, May. You're right. And he's like, miss you, May. And he leaves. So he goes pick up some flowers at a bodega, clearly not for Aunt May because he just came from there. So they must be for MJ. And it's the same bodega he went to where he ran into Ned in the beginning and shit. So he sees Ned sitting by the table and he goes over and says hi. And Ned's like, oh, the guy from the party. How are you? And then he goes, Peter, and he shakes his hand and they do their handshake from the first 3 movies, the very familiar handshake. Now, on the internet, there seems to be different interpretations of this. I walked away going, muscle memory of the handshake brings him back because Ned, after the handshake, Ned like looks at him and says, Peter, like, and recognize him. Is so sweet. I'm going to get so weepy. But I read a thing on the internet, which I thought was interesting, that said, no, that's not Ned remembering Peter because of muscle memory. Their position was when Gene held everybody and let them go, that freed them up. Like, and they were going to start remembering Peter. Like MJ was going to have a moment just like that. I don't know. I personally like the muscle memory thing myself.
I buy that vibe also because the spell is a magic spell, and Gene is not doing magic to undo the spell.
True. Excellent fucking point, man. That's a real good fucking point right there. Yeah, it's true. She's science, not magic. But so did you notice her sister, Sarah, has a scrunchie?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the colors of the scrunchie?
Was it yellow and green?
It's Marvel Girl's first costume after the black and yellow.
Right.
But when she first gets her own costume, the costume she's wearing, I think, when she eventually goes Dark Phoenix as well. Mm. I thought that was really sweet. Once again, and so the movie ends with, how does it end?
It ends on that scene. It ends on the handshake.
On a handshake. Yeah, that's nice. And then there's a post-credit sequence of the Spidey tracker that indicates Spider-Man is not on the planet. And that feels like a doomsday kind of setup. Tom Holland, once again, shredding it as Peter Parker. I have loved this kid's journey in this role. And as I said previously, if they want to keep making these until that boy is 60 years old and becomes Spider Old Man,
mm-hmm.
I'm fucking here for it. I love their relationship. I love the hurdles that the writers have put in their way, but love conquers all and stuff like that. So I'm there. I ship that relationship hard. I love the friendship with Ned. I love their whole world, and I love that they made this a smaller story, even though it doesn't feel fucking small. It feels very big, mm-hmm. but it doesn't feel like Avengers level big, where it's like this motherfucker's in space. They let him hang around Queens and Manhattan and tell a New York story for a change, which makes all the difference, because we've seen a bunch of permutations of Spider-Man doing larger-than-life comic book things, all of them on point, all of them workable, all of them defensible and fun. But this one, you know, feels like fucking Spider-Man, the actual Spider-Man. And they've kind of gone in reverse. Like in the comics, he went from having nothing to having some stuff and being respected and known and shit. Here, they started him off as Tony Stark's protege with all the fucking money and suit tech in the world, even though he had built his own home version prior to that. But now, like you see, this is the product of all that work. He doesn't have those means anymore, but he was always a smart kid, so he can figure shit out and build his web. You know, he built them before. Why wouldn't he build them again? So we get to see him be a scientist. You know, it's like sometimes you watch a Batman movie and he never gets to be a detective and whatnot. Here you get to see Spider-Man be a scientist. You know, so he's great, and more of him and less of everything else in the world. And I know as an actor, he's not interested in playing Spider-Man for the rest of his life, but fuck, I wish he was. You know, it's like make as many cherries or whatever the fuck as you want, but please make one Spider-Man every 3 years for the rest of your life. And you'll be doing the Lord's work for us. Zendaya, absolutely wonderful. Her rendition of MJ like is recognizable, fun, you know, just macabre enough and whatnot, edgy enough, and sweet. Their relationship is so incredibly sweet. It's not saccharine. We remember, it's not like she fell in love with this kid from the first fucking movie or anything like that. It's an earned relationship in the flick. So she's wonderful. The kid who plays Ned, Jacob Batalon, wonderful. The Metzger guy, totally fine in what he had to do. The lady who plays Jean DeWolf, who's from The Bear.
Yeah, Lisa Colon.
I watched her do a whole fucking movie of just her lady cop.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's great. That one episode, did she win an award for that episode of The
Bear?
Bear?
She won an Emmy.
Fuck, that episode's, man, she's fantastic. So it was nice to see somebody get their flowers. Like somebody, they're like, here, you're so good at your job, have a fucking Spider-Man movie. And she fits well in the world, and it humanizes it and makes it feel like fucking New York. So a wonderful asset she was to production. You know, fucking Mark Ruffalo, wonderful as always, is our Incredible Hulk, is our Bruce Banner. The girl who what's her name, Florence Pugh, fun,
always fun.
And in this iteration, Spider-Man, I've left that out. Spider-Man goes to see her at these Russian Schwitz baths in Brighton Beach. That's her office and shit. So I think that's probably how Spider-Man gets involved in Doomsday, right? Maybe she brings him in on the New Avengers. The whole movie, she keeps telling him, you do small potatoes, we do big potatoes. This sounds like small potatoes to me. So it was nice that she popped in, and she's fun to watch and shit like that. The MVP, as far as I'm concerned, is John Barenthal. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Tom Holland. He's great. You can't have a movie without him, but my God. Like, and I just watched One Last Kill and loved him in that, and was like, man, what a treasure this motherfucker is. Because for the first half of that show, he just acts his ass off. And then for the second half, he fucking slaughters people in the most entertaining way. And so you're going from that hardcore R-rated version of the Punisher to this one, which isn't as quite as hardcore and whatnot. A bloodless Punisher, if you will, this time around, in terms of like all the people he's shooting, you never see a fucking splotch of blood anywhere. And it somehow fucking works, and that has everything to do with how fucking likable John Barenthal is. Tom Holland, Zendaya, and John Barenthal are the trio of the summer. Both of them in fucking the 2 highest grossing movies of the year so far, right? Like fucking all 3 of them in Odyssey, and all 3 of them in this flick as well. He's great. I mean, fuck, I enjoyed their interplay so much, and I'm selfish, so I want like a whole other movie of just Spider-Man and fucking Frank. Give me a whole TV show. Or don't do it as a TV show, because then we won't appreciate it and shit. Give it and make me wait 3 years and make it a movie and put it all over my face, neck, and chest. But for me, the true discovery was, because I didn't watch Stranger Things, this is Sadie Sink. Perfect Jean Grey. Great. Absolutely fucking loved it. Loved her vibe, loved the look of Jean Grey, loved the age particularly. We're getting youth. You know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to like, look at this 40-year-old playing a fucking ex-kid. You know, these kids are supposed to be fucking teenagers. So I thought that was awesome. I'm like, holy shit, kid this young, you can fucking do X-Men movies for 10 years and she's still only going to be like 30 by the time they're done and shit like that. Oh, so smart, man. And if you're building your entire mutant saga around a Jean Grey, excellent casting choice, man. I hope they're paying her a lot of fucking money. So she would, again, I'm sure other people are very familiar with her work. I was not. I don't think I've seen her in anything. Was she in anything other than Stranger Things?
Not that I've seen. I know she did some Broadway stuff relatively recently, but I could not tell you what.
I gotta watch this Stranger Things, man. Me and the wife almost watched it the other day. I was like, well, now all the hype's down. We could probably watch it. But now, honestly, based on what I just watched in Brand New Day, I might be inclined. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's worth a spin.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody likes it. It's not like, I wonder if this thing's any good.
Right.
Man, oh man, Oshevitz. I absolutely adored it. It made me go home and rewatch Brand New Day. First, I was like, oh, I just want to go see the end scene. And then I went back to the top and rewatched the whole thing and walked away, from that, and then went to a second viewing of Spider-Man on Thursday at 1:00. So I saw it at night with Mark and Kevin Conroy and Brett Deacon at the ScreenX, Burbank AMC 20 screening. And then I went not even 12 hours later to go see it again. And between that, I watched Brand New Day. I guess more than 12 hours, 16 hours. And then watched Brand New Day. And I still couldn't tell you which is the better movie. You know what I'm saying? Not better movie. Which one I like more. I think I like them both. And one is an example of like, look at how crazy you can go with a comic book story and still have it make sense and be meaningful, in as much as like 3 Spider-Mans from different worlds. And then conversely, look how small, relatively speaking, you can go with this story. It's just a fucking New York story, man. And it feels like every fucking 70s and 80s, maybe even early 90s, New York set fucking Marvel story that I read as a kid and as a young adult. Like just a lived in fucking world and stuff. So I couldn't tell you which one I like more, but I tell you this, I like all these Spider-Man movies so fucking much. And it looks like this movie is going to make $1 billion, if not more. They're going to make Endgame money, which is huge. And that's exciting for somebody who's still invested in these Marvel movies and stuff. And that means good things for fucking Doomsday and whatnot. Like, this is just a good time to, for a minute there, people were like, oh man, Marvel. I think it's a good time to be a Marvel fan right now, man. That movie was absolutely delightful. And I probably will go see it a third time, like this weekend. I bet you I'll go on Saturday. My birthday is Sunday, so maybe I'll go see it Sunday morning before my show. 8 p.m., kids. Don't forget, Kevin Smith turns 56 on Sunday.
Treat yourself.
To the Starlight Cabaret at 8 p.m. There it is. Cinnamon, a band fronted by my kid, will play afterwards. That's how I'm going to turn 56, right in front of you. You want to cuck it out? Come to the Starlight Cabaret. Tickets at csmod.com. That is all my fucking thoughts. I don't know if it's a review of Spider-Man as much as it's a recap of the entire fucking movie. But somebody far more eloquent than me, and somebody who's also known for sometimes having a saltier opinion, if you will. I think he liked the movie.
I did like the movie. I can't quibble with very much of what you had to say. I mean, it's when the movie is engaging in that loneliness, when it is about Peter as an isolated person who wants nothing more than to not be isolated, but it's a self-imposed kind of prison that he's walled himself into.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's incredibly strong and so evocative, and that kid's face just tells you everything you need to know. Like he spends a lot of time talking to his AI, and not a lot of time talking to anybody else. And so I think that's when it's at its most affecting. I think there are I don't want to say it as a pejorative, but I know it's going to sound that way, that I didn't need him also turning into the rage spider evolution thing.
It co-signed. It didn't hurt the movie, but
it didn't hurt it.
I didn't personally feel like it necessarily needed it, nor did it be like, well, now he's gonna be fucking Spider-Man, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it didn't hurt the movie. But I too was just like, all right, well,
yeah, because I understand it as a literalization of a person disconnecting from who they're supposed to be.
Right.
I'm going through changes and I don't understand what's happening to me. And it could just as easily be, I'm getting darker and angrier because I don't have people to tether me to the world. Instead of I've got webs shooting out of my wrists and my eyes are turning black and suddenly I'm Super Spider-Man.
Let's just be happy they didn't give him 6, 8 arms or anything.
I know.
Like there were rumors at one point that they were going to go many arms Spider-Man, and I was like, look, I love taking flights of fancy, but I got lines, and him having more than 2 arms would have been a line crossed for me.
Yeah.
But again, I probably look handled well. Any fucking story could totally work and stuff. But I was very glad that we didn't see a multi-armed Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like it all of that stuff felt a little bit like, hey, how do we do Spider-Man plus? How do we do a little bit more? How do we iterate on what Spider-Man is? And I get it. And it's not wrong. It just felt distracting at times. And it felt very much like we're on a plot train. The rails need to get us to Bruce Banner. So how do we get to Bruce Banner? Well, he needs help with something. What does he need help with? Well, and then that just becomes the how do we get Bruce into the story in a way that is also on our main plot. And I understand. I get the schematics of it. Emotionally, it just didn't do very much for me. Yeah. You need a whiz bang. You need a la-di-da.
The back of the popcorn bucket has the inhibitor.
Very nice.
The inhibitor, I imagine going forward, will play quite a role in the Marvel universe.
It absolutely could. It absolutely
sounds
could.
like because at one point he's like, you're talking about a universal inhibitor. Ooh.
There's
something to fucking, I mean, I hate when they put cuffs on a motherfucker and they're like, this dampened your powers. But you gotta, fucking, you need something to bring the power levels. But it's like Supergirl, man. Like every 3 scenes they had to throw on a planet with no fucking sun, yellow sun, so that they're like, oh, we got a chance at maybe beating her or whatever the fuck before she comes back and takes everybody on. So having an inhibitor going into the mutant saga might be helpful because we're about to meet some incredibly overpowered individuals.
Yes. You could look at this movie and say that there's one bad guy who's Jean Grey, who turns out to be a misunderstood good guy, and who hands off to a bad guy that your hero never fights and never deals with. Because Metzger is ultimately the big bad who just kind of disappears. Like once we stop dealing with Jean Grey, it's like, oh, so where'd he go? Who's that guy? So like the things that Spider-Man accomplished in this movie are not particularly it's not a big win, other than emotionally, other than I managed to claw out of this self erected prison that I've been living in, that I checked myself into, that I sentenced myself to. And I get it. And all of that stuff works. Again, as an emotional story, I have no notes. Like it delivers exactly what it delivers on the promise of the end of No Way Home, which is what is this kid's life like? How badly does he want his life back? And what is he willing to do to get it? And so that stuff really, really works.
Lucha Martin in chat says WandaVision had inhibitors. Did they?
I don't remember.
I don't remember them dampening her power.
I don't remember. I can't remember. I know there was a big like.
I remember in the Fox X-Men movies, like at one point they were transporting him and they had him in cuffs and like, this will dampen your power, which is one of those things I'm always like, what? A pair of handcuffs.
But I remember there were like outposts surrounding the town that Wanda had taken over. And right. I don't remember if that was part of a like, we are going to flood the zone with some kind of signal that keeps her from remembering or keeps her located within here, that somehow traps her into this town. But I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, the entire cast is awesome. John Bernthal is phenomenal.
Honestly, like I know people will be like, shut the fuck up, idiot. But he's
great.
I'd give that dude a best supporting actor nomination. That's how fucking good he was in that movie.
Yeah. And I remember him saying, there was some interview where he's like, the only way I would do this is Kevin Feige promised me that I could play the exact same Punisher who was in One Last Kill, that I could go from that set to this set and not have to change who that character was. And like, yeah, There's less. Granted, we're not going to see nearly as much blood splatter. He's not misting people with machine guns, but that's the same guy. That's the same guy who still carries the trauma of his entire family dying. That's the same guy who is also walled off from the world and regrets being that person. He's the same guy. And I think it really works. And I think it definitely sort of grounds Peter in this is the worst version of who I could be.
Right.
Living on a fucking boat in a harbor somewhere and not talking to anybody.
Which even the Punisher says to him at one point. It's just like, you think I want this? You think I'd choose? You think if anybody I love was still around, I'd be wearing this mask, acting like this? Like he's like, this kid, this is a sentence.
Yeah.
That's a good scene. In chat, they're pointing out that Charles YT pointed out they had an inhibitor on Wanda and Pietro at the end of Winter Soldier. I don't remember that, but I'm not going to argue it. But other people, Metallica 8650 pointed out Deadpool 2 had inhibitors. But is that MCU or technically isn't that Fox Marvel?
I mean, it's technically Fox, but at some point it all does get folded in. But tracking that continuity is probably a fool's errand.
Wanda had a power dampening collar in the MCU, says Jeffrey Knight's Wonder. I'm not doubting it. I just can't remember when that happened. Yeah. I have no visual in my head of like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dampening. I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know why I'm okay with Spider-Man coming up with it, but everyone else, I'm like,
Tony Stark can't build it. No, not that.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's so weird the lines I build in my head. Where I'm like, that's fake. Like, unbelievable. Yeah. All right, back to you. Sorry, we keep interrupting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm here for this triangle. I'm here for this Scooby Gang, and finding a world in which they can find their way back to each other. Now what is going to happen is, Ned is going to remember and MJ is going to remember, and then he gets fucked off to Battleworld. Just as he gets the people he wants back in his life, he has to now go be a superhero, which I'm sure in some version will cost him again, because if there's anything true about Peter Parker, it's that he can never be happy for long. Like the world will kick him in the nuts. And that's the one part of his costume he hasn't armored, is his groin. And so it just keeps fucking kicking him.
Somebody gonna pull that football away from this poor son of a bitch.
Every fucking time. So yeah, man, like it's really hard to poke holes in it, unless you really want to, and I don't particularly want to, because the tiny things that I kind of didn't, that offered friction for me in watching it are definitely not deal breakers. Like I love that it's a New York movie and that we don't go anyplace else. I just rewatched Homecoming again, which is so lovely, and it's such a bookend for something like this, because he was fucking 17 years old, Tom Holland, and just watching the saltiness with which Zendaya plays MJ, watching the freshness of all of these relationships, and that he was just a kid who didn't know what he was supposed to do and what he was supposed to be and wants to be a hero so bad, and now this is a guy who is a hero who just wants to be a kid again. Like there's something just lovely about the arcs that they're putting him through. Yeah.
Shane Lockwood in chat said, so the Punisher encourages Peter to embrace his humanity. That's pretty cool. I mean, I guess that's kind of true.
Yeah, it is, because Frank doesn't believe that he can himself. Like he's the guy who's already down at the bottom of the pit saying, buddy, don't fall in this hole.
And you want to talk about the guy who has no friends.
Yeah.
Like this Punisher doesn't even have a microchip. You know what I'm saying?
There's nobody in the van.
He's very solo. And so Peter gets a whole movie where he gets to see what the future could be if he goes it alone at like Punisher style.
And this is very much like Scrooge, where Peter gets to visit ghosts of the past and the future and decide who he wants to be in the present.
What'd you think about the girl, about our Jean Grey?
I think she's really interesting. I think as an actress, she's really interesting. Like she's making choices, and choices are good. I think that character, as with all things X-Men, you have to find a way to update who these characters are and how they're going to operate in a world like this.
Right.
And Jean Grey as a character is one born of trauma, manipulation, and coercion.
Bruce Cool in chat goes, isn't Daredevil and Karen the Punisher's friends? Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. Not in this movie though. In this movie,
he's calling nobody on his speed dial
by himself. Yeah. But you're right. In the other shows, I mean, yes, friends for sure.
Yeah, Karen is especially.
Oh, come on, Red. Let me tell you something, Red. I don't know that he let me tell you something much in this.
I don't think he did. I mean, I'm sure that like there's
I think he may be getting sensitive to it because the internet's been doing like master clips.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I like it. I prefer it. I wish he did more.
I think it's awesome. But yeah, I mean, to be actively engaging with the X-Men, you know, we've had a lot of things. We've had a lot of, you know, head nods. It's like, oh, well, you know, Ms. Marvel, according to your genome, you have an X gene. That makes you a mutant. Like, yeah. You know, and then we'll never talk about it
again. Big G78 pointed out Daredevil would be in prison. I honestly thought they were gonna, like, when I saw the hand in the trailer, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna go free Matt Murdock. But there was no Matt Murdock at all.
Yeah, I think they were like,
no complaints. I'm not like, but my god, could you imagine if they served us a little Matt Murdock as well? Like, what a Marvel movie this is. Like, absolutely Marvel us, in as much as it feels like fucking like a Marvel comic, like Marvel's New York, populated by all these people who cross paths, you know, all with the same agenda to do good.
Well, they served as Matt Murdock in No Way Home. Like, he's the lawyer. So like we've had our taste. Yeah. He's in the world. But like I understand, like, listen, we're giving you a lot of other things. And if you're going to keep the focus on Peter, there's no reason for Peter to need Matt. Not in this movie.
True. Other thoughts you may have had since watching the flick. How many times did you see it? One?
I've only seen it once. I'm going to go again on Monday. But like, yeah, and I remember my son had he was studying abroad last year. It was like, Dad, I'm in Glasgow and they're shooting a Spider-Man movie in Glasgow, which is what they used to double for New York. And like, you can't tell.
I mean, like, you know, you could CG the rest of New York around it, but like, I remember them shooting those scenes of him in the truck swinging between those two things. And so there are moments where you can actually see, like, look at him. It feels lived in. Like,
yeah. Like, and I think
this guy felt like a real person more so than previous Spider-Mans have always felt like a CG character.
Mm-hmm.
Even in as much as his eyes didn't get to do this shit as much.
Right.
And this time around, the costume bunched, and it just, remember when they did that one Harry Potter where, what was it? I forget which director was like, let the kids like dress themselves.
Yeah, it's Alfonso Cuarón.
Alfonso Cuarón. He's like, fuck dressing the kids. Let the kids tie their own ties and shit, because that's gonna look natural. My friend's still watching. Go to bed. Times back east, 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning. Good Lord.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Wait, what was I just saying
though? The costume it wasn't.
I liked it. I liked that the costume bunched up and it wasn't perfect. Like, he felt like a real person, not like an effect.
Yeah, and I think that like every movie has its own version of what the swinging is going to be, right? And what transiting New York City is going to feel like. And I think this was the most effective. And it's not just because we are now 20 years past Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie, which felt like, oh shit, we're going to see him swing for real. And the camera was kind of untethered from reality. It was always just like placed in places you could not put a camera. It's very CG oriented, which is fine. We got to dazzle. But this felt a bit more like we're putting cameras on buildings, catching Spider-Man as he's passing by. And we did see it in the 3D, and the 3D was fucking awesome. You know, the 3D was great, the Screen X was great, but you know, you don't need either to get the complete, you know, totality of what this movie is. I think Daniel Cretton is a fantastic choice for this, because I think he can give you the spectacle of a Shang-Chi, and he can give you the kind of intimacy of a Wonder Man. And so they're like the party scene when we go to Ned and MJ's apartment for the first time feels like a party that a bunch of 20-year-olds would throw.
Yeah.
Like it has a really interesting vibe. It has a really interesting.
Frightening to me, an old man. When I saw that party, I was like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, no, that's not for me. No.
All those people are young and doing young things. I did bump into at one point when I saw Ned buying the beer. I was like, oh, they're gonna bust him. And I was like, no, wait, I guess he could buy beer. He's out of college.
He's an adult person.
Grown up, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, it's also New York. Like, who are we kidding? Nobody cards anybody in New York.
Is that right? Is it easier to buy beer in New York, like in a bodega?
I mean, like, if you knew where to go, there was always the people who just didn't care. Or if they knew you, it's like, you're a good kid and you're 20. Like, I'm not going to give a shit. Or like, I asked your dad and your dad was fine with me selling you a 6-pack. I didn't notice a bodega cat this time around, which did sadden me.
Ain't real. Movie's bullshit without a bodega cat.
Come on. Where's my bodega cat? I did like
J and S Kyle said, and also Peter wears the costume most of the movie with the mask. That was awesome. It's true. This is probably the most Spider-Man that we've seen in a Spider-Man movie. And again, like you could tell it was the guy, not like a CG effect.
Yeah.
You
know what's the dumbest thing I bumped against? Peter Parker, native New Yorker, still living in New York, buys fucking Little Caesars pizza.
No. Somebody that smells like a piece of what they call that shit.
That's some product placement.
Yeah, some product placement. Yeah, you're right. He would have been. What do you think what pizza does he get?
I mean, where's he live in Queens?
Yeah.
There's got to be like a Ramos or like not even a famous Ray's or a Ray's famous, but there's got to be some like corner Italian joint that fucking just will sell him slices.
Like a mom and pop joint.
Yeah, like hit motherfucker ain't getting Little Caesars.
Pizza. Little Caesars has about 10 million bucks, says you're wrong.
I know. Also, what does Peter do for work? Like,
there was a moment where I too was like, where's he getting his money?
Yeah, he's not taking pictures of himself for the Daily Bugle. He's not door dashing shit. Like, but he's got this cavernous apartment on the rooftop of some Queens, low rise. How?
Excellent point. And they never mentioned any source of income. Like when he talks to Jean DeWolf she's talking about how he works a lot, she means as Spider-Man. She doesn't mean like,
yeah. And he's got what has to be a $75,000 computer in his fucking home office.
That too, I noticed, and I was like, "Did you find that in the garbage?" Because remember in the first one, he's just like, "I found this awesome computer in the garbage."
Yeah, but those are like the nittiest of picks. I think it's a wonderful movie. I think it fulfills the promise that they made at the end of No Way Home, which is to make a movie that just deals with him being alone and deals with the trauma and the perils and the isolation of being a superhero and what the cost of it is and how
the street level Spider-Man we've been craving.
Yeah.
While not I have no complaints about the Spider-Man that the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Sony have given us thus far. Each time they took me on an adventure, I loved each one and stuff. But when they did this, I was like, wow. Like I had no idea how much I just wanted to see a grounded street level Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And they kind of delivered that. I mean, it's got Hulk in it, it's got Jean Grey, but it still fucking works, man.
No, and it doesn't carry any water really for too much else. I mean, yes, Jean Grey is in it to set up the X-Men, but she is also in it to help tell stories about Peter and help tell, the importance of what it means to have a connection to the people you love. But yeah, it's not carrying forward a story that we'd seen before. There's no Doctor Strange. We mentioned the spell only in passing. Nobody mentions a snap or Sokovia or the Accords or any of that shit. It's a Spider-Man movie. And I kind of love it for
that. As always, the moment we get something that we love, something beautiful, something a lot of people worked very hard to pull together and make right. First question we ask is, when's the next one?
Yes. No idea.
It'll be a little while before we get another one of these, I'm thinking. Yeah. But he'll be back, it said on the end of the movie. They told us there's a post-credit sequence, and at the end of it, Spider-Man will return. So
yeah. They did not say Spider-Man will return in Avengers Doomsday. They just said he'd return.
He'll return. Kids, if you're looking for a fun night out at the movie theater, the fuck are you doing? Go see Spider-Man Brand New Day. Look, the whole world's going.
Yeah.
It looks like this movie is going to make fucking buku bucks and stuff. We saw it in Screen X, and this is the first time they ever shot for specifically Screen X. So if you're around a Screen X theater and you feel like paying $1 or $2 more, whatever it is, you'll see even more of the movie and really get enveloped by the flick and whatnot. Of course, is it 4DXing it as well?
I believe it is. It would surprise me if they weren't.
You can see it in there, but I also saw standard version, no bells, no whistles, just a movie ass movie, man, and it worked just as well without any bells and whistles. Good ass time.
I'm sure it's in large formats if your theater can potentially wrest anything away from the Odyssey, but like, just go see it. Just go sit there. Go fucking have a good time with that Spider-Man boy.
I'll tell you what. The only time, spend all weekend going to see Spider-Man, except for Sunday night at 8 p.m. You have to set that aside, not for the wonderful world of Disney. That was 7 p.m. You have to set it aside for Kevin's 56th birthday. Oh my God, man. Come to the Starlight Cabaret, kids, right there in Studio City on Ventura by the hand job car wash and shit. And watch me turn 56 years old, man. I'm going to do funny things, I hope. And then my kid's band's going to play afterwards. Some cinnamon, man. You can rock out with your cock out and shit. Don't take your cock out. My daughter's going to be there, for heaven's sakes. Put your cock away. That's the name of the show. Kevin Smith's 56th birthday. Put your cock away. Tickets at csmod.com, or you can go to the Starlight Cabaret website. Can I pimp some other shows before we move on to Q&A?
Do the thing.
Ready, JC? Let's throw them up one by one. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kevin Smith's coming your way, man. October 14th and October 15th, man. I'm going to be playing right there at, what is it, Bricktown Comedy Club in Tulsa. Come see me. Be funny for money. I'm going to use my mouth on you. Then, kids, August 22nd, I'm going to be in Jersey, man, because we're going to be doing a signing at the Secret Stash. I got a Spider-Man Hulk comic book that's coming out. Months ago, when I was working on Jay's Future Past, good folks at Marvel were like, hey, man, you want to do a Spider-Man Hulk book for when Spider-Man comes out? I said, all right. And I recruited my friend Andy McElfish, and RB Silva drew it, and it's beautiful, man. First issue comes out August 19th. So at the Secret Stash, we're going to be doing a signing on August 22nd. Come get your books. I'll tag it. Then I'm sure we'll be doing something at the theater that night. I think it's Jaws. I think that weekend we're doing Jaws live at Smodcastle Cinemas. Yes, live on stage. And I'm playing Matt Hooper. Can you believe that shit? Yeah, man. We did Die Hard live at Smodcastle last year, and I played Hans Gruber. It's a good ass fucking time. So we're doing Jaws live. Come on out and see that, man.
Playing Chief Brody.
You got Carlisle Owens, Jeff Mashi, and me, Kevin Smith. They're the kids that do this, like these live things. They do it like a radio show, man, with fucking sound effects and shit. Like when we did Die Hard, it was only an hour. Thank God, you know, it's like an action movie. So how do you do those scenes? It was fucking well done and went so well. People were like, do it again. So we're doing Jaws. So that happens on, I'm not sure the date. I want to say the 23rd or something like that. Do you have that, JC? Do you know what date that is? I go by csmod.com, but unfortunately it's missing on my csmod. Will. August 29th, though, kids, I'm going to be back in Jersey for Super Jersey Con, man. I didn't send you any artwork for this. My bad, JC. But all the mall rats are going to be gathered together August 29th at Super Jersey Con, which is up in North Jersey and whatnot. Iron Peak, Hillsborough, New Jersey. Tickets for that at csmod.com. The largest Mallrats cast reunion in history, they say. All that and so much more, kids. Go to csmod.com. See all the shows I got coming up. You got anything you want to whore out, Mark?
Nah, man. I'm just doing
Hey, let me do a little more whoring. When you're done watching this show, you pop over to JSB His House on YouTube and you watch the very first episode of Jay and Silent Bob are in the His House. Brand new podcast that me and Jay are doing from the His House, which is
Nice.
in Jay's backyard. Good times. First show just went up. We'll be doing one show a week and stuff like that. Figuring it out as we go along. More post-produced than anything I've ever done in the podcast space. Part of the fun of podcasting for me was always like, let's just do it and fucking put it up, and that's that. Because anything else more than that becomes work. Well, now they edit these things.
Now they added work.
Yeah, now they're like, we don't want to hear you fucking talk for like 2 hours. We want to keep you less long-winded, tighten your shit up. You know how long you talk about fucking Spider-Man? Let me tell you, that long-ass review or recap I just did here, that would never stand at Jay and Silent Bob in His House.
Cut that His House. Likes brevity.
They like it's tight. Can't move around into His House. Come hang out. It's not, the show is not here on this channel. If you're like, where is it? I can't find it. You got to go to a different YouTube channel altogether. Jordan, Jason's wife, who runs our company, she was like, no, we're not going on your channel. We're starting fresh with a brand new channel. So please go smash like and subscribe. Join us and watch the further adventures over there.
Diversification.
Okay. Kids, it should be Q&A time, shouldn't it? I'm sure you guys got burning fucking questions that you want to ask us, and me and Mark are here for it. Banff Man has been filtering through all your queries. And your queries are about to be recognized.
What do we got?
Two dudes who loved fucking Spider-Man.
Unless JC is putting his kid to bed.
Banff.
Banff, did you see Brand New Day yet, or is your kids keeping you away from it?
The kids in the new location have me full.
Banff Man is building a location, kids. Don't forget. Scum and Villainy Cantina. You could always visit in Hollywood, right on Hollywood Boulevard, the original, the one, the only geek bar. But Banff Man is busy building Scum and Villainy Cantina, kids. Cannot wait. Scum and Villainy Rendezvous over in Burbank, man. Very near the AMC 20 and stuff. Right by the Batman statue, for God's sakes, man. Can't think of a better place to be. So you'll excuse him if he hasn't gone out.
Yeah, I've seen nothing. I didn't go to Comic-Con this year. I've not done anything.
This fucking geek card, my friend. Hey, let me ask you guys. Mark, you've seen Spider-Man. Jason Mewes is like, he's like my kid. He's got a son, Lucian, who's 3. He's like, he loves Spider-Man. He loves Hulk. That movie's fine to bring a 3-year-old to. You think? Or is it too scary?
I mean, there's a little
bit. Would be bored by anything but the Hulk stuff. Like all the Jean Grey jumping stuff, I think the kid would be like, he's 3. I think he'd be bored by that. But watching Hulk fight fucking the Punisher and Spider-Man.
Yeah, like it is intensely violent. And so I don't know. Never having met Lucian, not knowing what Jay and Jordan are exposing the child to, I'm not sure if it is of a piece with the rest of what he watches.
The boy watches the Spider-Man show on Disney Plus, where like, you know, the Sandman is like, I'm taking your milk money. Like, that's how bad it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the kid's familiar and he loves the Hulk and he does Hulk smash. He loves to do the thunderclap. Jay lets him do the thunderclap and Jay falls backwards and shit. But that is a long movie. That's one thing we mentioned. That's a 2.5-hour movie. They give you your money's worth on that Brand New Day.
Yeah. I mean, if it's me, I wait till it comes at home.
Home video.
Yeah, and then you could just slice into that.
The responsible mother probably is knowing that, whereas the responsible father is trying to figure his way around it.
Yeah.
The last time that question was posed, I asked Coy about Supergirl because he had seen it early at our last show at the Cantina. He's like, yeah, you could take a 5-year-old to that. And then I watched Supergirl and I was like, I can't take a 5-year-old to this. Why is he crazy?
Yeah. That is a man who's never had a 5-year-old.
He will. Now he will soon. Him all happily wed and stuff. And then when he has one of them kids, he'll be like, why did I ever tell people to fucking take their kid to a superhero movie at this age? All right, Banff Man, what kind of questions are we looking
at? Let's see. Benny Space 6688 asked, what's a scene in a movie or TV show that made you cry the most? So beyond just loving whatever it might be, what made you cry the most?
What? What do you mean? What in life?
In a movie, a scene in a movie.
It was like I was real sad when my mom died. I think that made me cry. What scene in a movie? Off the top of my head, I'll give a standard guy response who was born a Gen X guy who appreciated movies throughout the 80s and 90s. Kevin Costner in Field of Dreams. I'm not even a baseball enthusiast. But Kevin Costner in Field of Dreams going, Dad, want to have a catch, with his voice breaking? It will destroy a motherfucker. Let me see. Honestly, having just rewatched it, Peter telling MJ and Ned that they're going to forget him, but he will find them and he'll make it all right again is an incredibly emotional scene. Tough to not fucking roll tears at. Let me see, of my all-time faves. Is there anything in Jaws? No. JFK? No. Man for All Seasons? No. Last Temptation of Christ has some pretty powerful stuff in it. You know, Martin Scorsese is no slouch in the storytelling department. And I was a big fan of the book and the movie, and I was, hardcore Catholic at one point in my life. So that story and the examination of the duality between God and man was very meaningful to me. And there are scenes with Willem Dafoe, going, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I say the right thing? He has an inner monologue as Christ, as he's trying to figure out who the fuck he is and stuff. That and a spellbinding scene. It's not very emotional, but it always makes me glass up because, what follows it and shit. David Bowie plays Pontius Pilate, and Willem Dafoe has a scene with, Jesus is confronted by Pontius Pilate, sentenced by Pontius Pilate. But Bowie, comes at him going like, you're a magician. They say you can do tricks. Do one, and fucking Willem Dafoe as Christ has to explain that my kingdom's not here. It's of someplace else. It's not of this world. And David Bowie's Pontius Pilate goes, no, it wouldn't be, would it? It's wonderful filmmaking. When I was a young, ardent Catholic, that movie made me very emotional all the time. I had deep love for old JC. Not JC Bamfman. I'm talking about Jesus Christ, but I do have deep love for JC Bamfman. I'm trying to think, what was the other powerhouse movie that I love? Because I lean into that shit. You've seen me. I put up pictures of myself crying in there. It's very cathartic for me to watch a movie. What a safe environment to lose your emotional shit at. You know what I'm saying? It's dangerous in life to lose your emotional shit, over real things. You got to keep it together and stuff. But in the confines of a movie theater with all this, fake make pretend going on and shit, putting people in jeopardy that aren't real. Oh, what a great place to let go and fucking just cry your eyes out. If a movie calls for it, if a sad scene calls for it. Those are the ones that leap to mind. I'll think of more. What about you, Mark?
Well, I've been binging Shrinking as of late. And I don't remember if we had talked about it or not, or I talked to somebody else about it. But there's at least a moment in almost every episode in which I start to kind of get glassy-eyed. Because it is about loss and tragedy and trauma and pushing through it, and watching Harrison Ford just fucking lean in and kind of, because I remember, Harrison Ford has always been a good actor, but never, I think, embraced the fact that he was a good actor. He would always say, I'm not an artist, I'm a craftsman, but it's all fucking in there. And there's something about him in the winter of his years that seems unembarrassed to just lean in and kind of be that guy. And it's a fantastic show. I'm a little ashamed at myself that it took me so long to come to it. But the movie that instantly came to mind that just fucking wrecked me in a way that I did not see coming was Coda, which I think won
Academy Awards that year.
Yeah. And there's a sequence in that movie where, it's about this young woman. I can't remember her name. I want to say it was Thomasin McKenzie, was the actress, but she's the child of deaf adults. That's what CODA stands for. And she wants to be a singer, and she's been accepted into some prestigious academy, but she's got to do an audition, and her parents have no fucking time for her wanting to be a singer because it is a world that they cannot participate in. It's a world that they have no access to. but there's a scene where her father is, it's a scene of connection. For the first time, really, he's trying to understand her. And so he asks her to sing for him. And she starts to sing. And then he places a hand on her throat so he can feel the vibration of her vocal cords.
Oh, that's powerful.
And oh my God, like out of fucking nowhere, my lips started to do the lip thing. And I started, oh God, it was just holy shit. Like it was a Mack truck that T-boned my soul and didn't know what the fuck happened.
You just did the best commercial for Coda. I've been ducking it for years. Not like I don't want to watch it, but I was like, I just need one great reason. But you just
it's so good.
Oh man, I'm fucking in. What about like? Here's a movie that's not known for being sad, but makes me fucking cry every time in particular moments. Remember Arthur Dudley? Yeah. When spoilers, he's got like, you know, his fucking British butler is kind of uptight and shit like that. Funny as fuck. Acerbic is like drawing corn cob up the ass. John Gielgud, who won an Oscar for playing the role. At one point in the movie, he falls ill and then he dies. And you don't see his death. You see the scene before his death, but you see Arthur close up his room. And during that time that he's like taking care of Hobson, his butler, who's taken care of him his whole life, Arthur, who is just a like nonstop drunken playboy, like cleans up his act and cares for the person who's cared for him his whole life. Holy fuck, it's gonna hit me hard. But there's a scene afterwards where he breaks down and goes back to drinking, and he's in a bar, and he's telling this drunk next to him, he's like, I haven't had a drink in 2 months or whatever the fuck. He goes, why not? And Dudley Moore, was such a great actor, such a great comic, and played drunk very well, and could play comedic drunk, but also bittersweet, sad drunk as well. And so he has this moment where they're on him in a single, and he goes, my father died. And it wasn't his father, but he was, for lack of a better description. Like his own father wasn't much of a father to him. And you know, he explains that one day he just went to sleep and he just never woke up and stuff. And the drunk goes, that's horrible. And then Arthur says something, which is a line that like I've used for the rest of my life in the most reflective kind of way. He goes, I was lucky to even know him at all. Powerful sentiment. Another moment makes me cry in a motion picture. Buttermaker screams at fucking Amanda Wurlitzer and throws his beer at her. And she fucking looks at him with shock. And then she's like, whatever, and walks out of the dugout. And we follow her from behind. And then Michael Ritchie comes around and he shows you that this brave little girl has one fucking tear rolling down her cheek. She wipes it off and fucking walks away. That was the beginning of a hard generation of kids. That was our generation, Gen Xers, man, who just, you know, had to learn. We were not coddled. There was no fucking T-ball for us. And most of our parents worked, so they weren't around and shit. It was just a tough generation of kids. And to see that represented up on the big screen, kind of see one of your own, you know, that was very fucking meaningful. And that's a hysterical fucking movie. Not meant to be a drama by any stretch of the imagination, but Michael Ritchie is such a great filmmaker. And he had such an amazing cast with those fucking kids, some of the most believable kids in cinema history. He was able to pull your heartstrings as well, you know. And then the other moment in the movie that always makes me emotional is when he, in the last game, reaches a crescendo screaming at the kids. And he's like, come on, don't you want to beat these bastards? And then all the kids are just looking at him like he's speaking a different language. And he realizes he ain't there for them. He's there for him. And he's trying to live through him, through the kids. And then he kind of reins it in. He's like, you know what? Just go out and do your best. And then he commits to that and saves his soul in many ways. Oh, beautiful, beautiful fucking movie.
And I remember being in the screening room. It was like me and 2 other critics to see The Iron Giant.
Oh, fuck.
And like didn't know nothing about nothing. But you get to the end of that fucking movie when it's like
Superman.
It's not even that. That's not what got me. It was when he turns into the gun. It's when he thinks he killed Hogarth.
Yeah.
And he's like, there is nothing left for me to be kind about. There's nothing left for me to hold on to. I'm gonna be what I was meant to be. And that just fucking wrecked me. And then once Hogarth is like, you're not a gun, you're not a gun. I'm just through the veil of tears. I'm like, oh God.
I'm scrolling through my fucking movies going, all right, what makes me cry?
I'll tell you, the first time I think I ever sobbed at a movie, because I must have been like 11 or 12 when I saw this, Terminator 2. When he's like, I know not why you cry, but I can never do it. And he goes down. Then Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire one, when he catches the brick wall and like she sees his face and she realizes that Spider-Man is Peter. But the two recent ones, Creed, when he looks at Rocky and he's like, I need to prove I'm not a mistake. And then I just went and I took Jocelyn to see Toy Story 5.
Oh my God.
Did you see that?
Not yet, but Toy Story 4, is that the Schindler's Toy Box where they're all holding hands about?
That's Toy Story 3.
Oh
In
God,
Toy Story 5, I almost don't want to ruin it. It's Jesse's movie.
Jesse forward story.
And the whole movie is Jessie looking for her value in a world that has moved beyond toys. And what do you do? Where does your self-worth come from? Like, it's very adult. And then there's a moment that calls back to Toy Story 2 when you meet her with the owner that abandons her or loses her. And I don't know if anybody, should I spoil it? It's kind of new. Basically, Jessie ends up at the house that her original owner was at, and she ends up under the tree that she used to play with her original owner at. But just basically, I'm going to allow myself to die here. And she looks up. Oh God, I won't be able to say it. Scrolled into the tree, it says Jessie. And you're like, holy shit, her owner got another Jessie doll. And Bullseye finds a lunchbox, and she opens the lunchbox, and you're like, oh God, it's going to be the second Jessie doll. What are they doing? And it's a picture of her owner. Oh God, I won't be able to say. Her owner and her daughter. And she named her daughter after the doll she lost. And all of a sudden,
prick. I already got a bad reputation for being a little bitch. I didn't even see the movie that got me crying. That's so fucking beautiful. Are you serious?
I'm sitting there sobbing. It's just me and Jocelyn in the theater. She's looking at me like I'm crazy. And I come home to tell Jen, and I try to tell it to Jen, and I'm beside myself for like 20 minutes. And Jen's laughing at me. I was like, that is because Toy Story 2 came out 20 years ago, and they're paying off this. Yep. Oh my God. I was that like,
just for us.
The whole fucking when somebody loved me.
Yeah.
Everything was beautiful. And that was a fucking cancer I've had to carry around since that movie. That was fucking heartbreaking. Watching that poor little kid, that little doll, talk about her fucking person who gave her up and shit. So to hear that it pays off 20 years later, and somebody retcons one of the saddest moments in cinema to be like, guess what, kids? There was a hidden fucking rainbow to this cloud. Oh, I'm fucking there for it, man.
Oh, it was so good. And then later on in the movie, in Toy Story 1, Buzz keeps fighting with Woody. You can fly, I can fly. It's falling with grace. In this movie, the latest version of Buzz, when you connect him to the internet, becomes a drone. And so in the big climax, Buzz can actually fly now. And I was like, what the? That movie came out literally in 1995, 30 years ago or whatever. And it's like, how are you still doing it?
That's why they get all the money in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone wants to be like Disney's the great fucking Satan, but at the end of the day, it's like, yes, but remember how you felt at Toy Story 1?
Mm-hmm.
You imagine feeling that same way now as a grown-up? As we pay off things you remember from your childhood. Like these fuckers are insidious and they know exactly how to get to the head, the heart, and the soul of the consumer and shit like that. It's smoke and mirrors, and it's one of the greatest fucking magic acts in the world. And smart, we're all smart enough to fucking see through the charade, and we all buy into it because even if you're feeling something about fucking fake toys that don't exist, and this was not based on a true story or anything, to be able to be moved by make pretend, how awesome is that? Like how awesome to be tricked, to be fooled into thinking that that mattered, like that required the expression of emotional gravitas that you let out in public and stuff. That is a true magician, my friends and stuff. And I will take that every fucking day. I love to get emotional in a movie theater, man. Like that's what it's there for. The lights are down and shit like that. And I'm deeply invested in something that isn't, it's not true. There are no real fucking stakes. All these fuckers have plot armor and shit like that. But if you're really good at the job, you could like Toy Story 5, so good at the fucking job. I didn't even see the movie. My man described the scene and I got fucking emotional. Like unbelievable. Those cats are artists. Somebody in chat said E.T. naturally. Yeah. Fucking Elliot, you know, crying. I don't know how you don't cry along with Elliot when he's, you know, no, don't die. And I'll be right here. I'll be right here. Oh fuck.
Try finding a movie scene where we don't cry is a better question.
It's true. The older we get, fucking Batman dying in the Flash, even, you know, a lot of this movie, a lot of people didn't fucking dig, but like Michael Keaton's Batman finally succumbing, you know, I got emotional. How could I not? That was my Batman and shit. We saw his end. That was something we weren't gonna ever see, and there we saw a version of his end. Big. When look, almost every Tom Hanks movie, because Tom Hanks has whatever it takes to make this man fucking cry. So he made me cry in Forrest Gump. He made me cry in fucking Philadelphia. He made me cry in Big. Like that guy could play humans so well. Maybe one of our absolute ultimate humanist performers. Really finds a way to fucking make you feel your humanity and stuff. So he has repeatedly made me cry. Good Will Hunting, a movie I'm lucky enough to have my name on as a co-executive producer.
It's not your fault.
Not your fault. Sean telling Will it's not his fault, and Will being like, fuck you, don't do this, Sean, and getting like real fucking upset and shit, and him just working him through it. Beautiful. But the moment that made me cry when I read the script on the toilet for the first time, and then they stuck the landing so well because my boy is a brilliant actor, is when Chucky goes to pick Will up at the end of the movie. And earlier in the movie, they have that scene where Chucky is just like, you know, there's a moment when I'm coming to pick you up every day and I knock on your door, and for 1 second, you don't answer. And I think maybe you just left, that you're gone. You got out of here. And he goes, that's the best part of my day. And so later on, oh God, they go to, you know, just like we'd seen other times in the movie, Chucky and co go to pick up Will at his apartment, and Chucky gets the door and he knocks and Will doesn't answer. And there's this moment, and like, say what you will about Ben Affleck, it is a beautiful fucking performance. And it was beautiful on the page, and my man fucking killed it when they actually shot it. And it's in the movie, so you can see it for yourself. You watch his face go through the spectrum of understanding that like he's gone, he left, and the hurt and the he's knocked breathless for a moment until he remembers it's what he always wanted. And then he gets this fucking satisfied fucking smile for his bestie. Oh, and then turns around. He's like to the rest of the kids, I don't know, you're not there. And doesn't it doesn't go back to the car and be like, I think Will went to see about a girl. You know what I'm saying? They just go about their day. You know, it's not a motherfucker who wears his heart on his sleeve. None of these Southie kids are. So like seeing that, you know, and played to the hilt. I mean, you know, credit where credit's due. The boys wrote their parts. So, you know, they loaded themselves for bear in terms of like, I'm going to give myself something that's going to fucking break hearts and make people destroy people and stuff. And they absolutely did it. And guess what? They were rewarded with an Academy Award for screenwriting for their fucking trouble. So I know that fucking scene works, man. Oh,
the one that somebody just mentioned in chat that is embarrassing, but will still get me to this day. Again, another 30-year-old movie is Armageddon, when Bruce Willis pulls the patch and gives it, and they come back, and the music and the it's so overdone, but it doesn't matter. It's so
slow-mo.
Yeah.
All of it's slow-mo.
It still gets me every time.
The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
A lot of musical moments in that movie that made me very fucking emotional. Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole trilogy. Each one of those movies had a moment that fucking got me. James Gunn knows how to, you know, fucking hit you in the heart, you know.
There's the bit in Jojo Rabbit when Scarlett Johansson, when her character dies, and the only reason you know it's her is because they'd spent the previous hour of the movie, hour and a half of the movie, establishing her shoes. And so all you see is just her shoes. I mean, you've also established that they're hanging people in this town. The Nazis have moved in and they're exterminating Jews. And so that's the only way that Jojo knows that his mom is gone, because he sees her shoes hanging. It's just, God, it's I mean, it is the job of that kind of film to manipulate you to a certain degree, because it's what it's doing. It's bringing you to an emotional precipice, but it is such a fucking blindside. And when it works well, you didn't expect it to hit as hard as it hits, even though you should have seen it coming.
Along those lines, Schindler's List, girl in the red dress is so much of that movie is fucking will bring tears to your eyes and stuff. Iron Man. The death of Jensen Ho.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tony Stark being like, thank you for saving my life. And him going, don't waste your life, Stark. You know, I've said before on this show, your entire Marvel Cinematic Universe rests on that moment. Like, that's what makes Iron Man a hero, become a hero. Like, saving his ass in the desert is one thing, but Jensen Ho saying, like, don't waste your life, changed the game. I always wish that when he did the snap, they would have done the, like, who do you see and shit, like how Thanos saw Gamora. Would have been so awesome if he saw Jensen Ho and they had a conversation. It was nice enough that in 3 they crossed them over in a in a flashback in the beginning and stuff.
Yeah, at that power conference or whatever it was.
That's honestly one of the most meaningful moments in Marvel Cinematic history. Jensen Ho fucking convincing Tony Stark to not waste his life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so beautiful. Well done, Fabs.
All right, should we move on to another question before we just cry ourselves to sleep?
I fucking loved it. Last Starfighter. Emotional shit there. Yeah, ask another question. I'm just getting. Oh, bitch! What about that fucking Jurassic Park where they showed the one dinosaur on the dock when it was burnt? It was like, oh! I was like, fuck you to death. Oh my god! I'm like, I never fucking got emotional about the dinosaurs until I saw that poor little fucker left on the dock. Like, what about us? Oh, fucking. Was that Trevorrow or is that Spielberg?
That's Trevorrow.
Boy needs to be spanked. That was fucking cruel. What cruel shit to do. Look, threaten or hurt a movie animal, even if it's a dinosaur, you're gonna fucking draw tears out of me, man.
Okay. Max Flay If Robert Downey Jr. had declined, who would you cast as Doom?
Oh, I thought you were going to say who he cast as Iron Man.
As Doom. Fucking John Barenthal, man. Let me tell you something, Reed. Reed, let me tell you something.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for your girl. I'm coming for your kid.
You think you can come into Latveria and act like that? Let me tell you something.
Yeah. Kick rocks, Grim.
Kick rocks.
Who do I cast as Doom?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh.
Just like my theory on Robert Downey Jr. doing Iron Man, doing Dr. Doom, is that he won an Academy Award, Best Supporting Actor, playing, a human being, obviously, in Oppenheimer. I think, dude don't need the money and shit, clearly. I think homie accepted Dr. Doom because he's like, let me see if I can win an Oscar from behind a mask. Like, it's not unheard of that a comic book supervillain can win somebody an Academy Award. We've seen it happen twice with the Joker. Dr. Doom has many more layers than the Joker to play with, right? The Joker, you get to play insane, and that's very showy and fun to watch and stuff. But Dr. Doom is a tragic figure, a fucking monster, a hero. He's so many things, so many colors to play. And I can imagine an actor of Robert Downey Jr.'s caliber just being like, let me see if I could fucking get an Academy Award nomination or win another Academy Award from behind a metal mask, where the only thing they're ever going to see of me is my eyes. I don't get to use every trick I have in the book and all the charm and that face that people know and love. It's just going to be my performance. And by the way, my performance is going to be heavily accented, so I'm not going to sound like me. He seems like, I don't know him from Adam, but he seems like the kind of guy that'd be like, now that's an acting challenge. And if I get paid $100 million to do it, by gum, why not? And that to me feels like the reason he would go for it. So in lieu of that, another gigantic acting titan who wants to act their way through a fucking metal mask to show you how good they are at the job. Daniel Day-Lewis springs to mind. Like that, Jeremy Strong, another actor who loves to, fucking act his ass off and shit, and would love to take the challenge of fucking like, let me see if I can do it like this, just make it work like this without you seeing every expression I can make.
Tom Hardy, because he's already acted through a mask. Let's see if he can.
Excellent fucking point, man. There's a motherfucker who acted through a fucking mask and captivated the world with that performance and had everyone imitating it. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he got to see his eyes, and that's about it, really, right? As everything else was just covered here. So maybe, that's an excellent fucking point. He's a dude who's acted his way from beyond a fucking mask, man. Who else?
I like Cillian Murphy. I think he'd be really interesting. I think Brian Tyree Henry would be super interesting. Oh boy.
Fuck. What about in a world where earlier in the show we were talking about Denzel being in San Diego Comic-Con? Could you imagine Denzel Washington being on Doctor?
Yeah. It's like, I'm from around the way. I'm leaving here with something. Reed. I'm leaving here with your girl.
Look, I ain't unhappy with the guy we got. I think I love Robert Downey Jr. So, and
I didn't land on Latveria. Latveria landed on us.
Excellent fucking point. All right, what else we got?
Let's do this for the last one. Bob Perlitz, with the arrival of Spaceballs 2, what is the sequel
not for a while, by the way. That's not till 2027.
But it will be arriving. What is the sequel you are still waiting for Hollywood to get around to making?
Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime League. I'm waiting for that. I'm going to be waiting a long time. Flash Gordon 2. We saw The Ring and we heard
The end.
question mark. Let me see what else demands a sequel.
I mean, my asshole comment would be Indiana Jones 4.
I will say Young Sherlock Holmes. They set us up for a sequel when at the very end, one of the few movies that had a post-credit sequence before the days of Marvel, where you watch like his schoolmaster going, on a long journey, and then he gets to a place to check in and they ask him to write his name down and he writes Moriarty. And you're like, I mean, honestly, that was like a fucking Marvel beat before Marvel. I wonder if Kevin Feige was a fan of that movie. And he was like,
that Ron Howard back in the day? Did he direct that?
I know who directed it. It wasn't Ron Howard. I want to say it was what's his fuck. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Zemeckis.
Zemeckis did it, no, because it was some of the earliest CG effects, and it was kind of a Spielberg production, if I remember correctly. And Zemeckis was his boy, wasn't he? Am I right? Are you looking it up?
I'm looking it up.
Barry Levinson.
Barry Levinson.
Oh, God.
Which I never would have pulled out of a hat.
I was off, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I did know that because it was some guy that wasn't likely. Where I'm like, this person.
Yeah,
Levinson, a wonderful director, man. Diner is a great fucking movie. Tin Men's a great fucking movie. That Young Sherlock Holmes is a great fucking movie. Bugsy is a great fucking movie. 20 dwarves took turns doing handstands on the carpet. 20 dwarves took turns doing handstands on the carpet. 20 dwarves.
Look, there was one I had. Oh, Silverado 2. I would have liked to have seen.
Agreed.
Dragon Slayer 2.
Wow.
I love that movie.
The Blacker Hole.
Oh, they made that.
Well, I want to see it, Mark.
Dear Internet, give me the Blacker Hole.
Let's see what do I love that didn't get a fucking sequel? I mean, like fucking E.T. never got a sequel.
Oh. No.
And there's more to that story. He would have come back. You know what, bitch? They can make a sequel still. You know what I'm saying? Like, people love, in a world where they're doing fucking Clueless, the series, like, and that's like 30 years fucking later and shit like that. You mean
Henry Thomas and Drew Barrymore are still kicking?
What I'm saying, man. And he comes back and they're adults. That movie makes $1 billion, $2 billion easy.
I mean, fucking Peter Coyote is still kicking.
Is he?
Yeah, he does. He does all the narration for the Ed Burns documentaries. Ken Burns, not Ed Burns.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man, oh man. Why the fuck not? Now, if somebody be like, oh, why would you ruin the legacy of E.T.? It ain't ruined. It'll still be there. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But I love those characters. And I would fucking buy a ticket to watch grown up Henry Thomas and grown up Drew Barrymore meet E.T. again and shit. And a whole new fucking adventure. And they got kids and whatever. Not together, obviously. The brother. And throw in the other brother, the older one too. Don't leave him out and shit.
Yeah, him I don't know about. I can't positively identify him as still with us.
I mean, low-hanging fruit, Goonies.
Absolutely right.
I mean, fucking Last Starfighter 2. Yeah.
But Goonies, like, is unconscionable that we never had a sequel to that. Movie was made for a fucking sequel, for heaven's sakes.
Or, I mean, Roger Rabbit. I'd love to see a movie where Roger and Eddie, I mean, you can't do it anymore because he died, but Roger and Eddie.
Still do a Roger Rabbit movie. You're absolutely right. We never got a sequel to that either. They're leaving money on the table, boys. This is why you and me and him should be in charge of Hollywood.
Yeah, just give us a small studio. We don't even need one of the big ones.
Ooh, Sleeping Hermit said Big Trouble in Little China. fucking 100%. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. It's funny. I had a general meeting with 20th Century Television. And they're like, is there anything we have in the library that you might want to try and take a swing at? I was like, Big Trouble in Little China. Let me make a TV show. And they said no.
What?
Yeah. They were like, yeah, Features is unwilling to let go of Big Trouble in Little China. I was like, they're making a mistake. Pork Chop Express ought to be a TV
Remo
show.
Williams coins pointed out in chat.
Ooh, Lost Boys. Ooh, that is a good poll.
That was a good poll. Yeah, you totally could have done. And I know, didn't they do some straight to video sequels and shit?
Yeah, they did. At least one.
They're doing it on stage now. Lost Boys, I think the musical.
Yeah, there's a show. There's a musical. Ron H7474 said 7-2.
Yeah. 8.
7-2 would be great if it was like 3 days. The whole thing took place over 3 days, like 24.
Hellboy 3. We've seen a few Hellboys though. Good Will Hunting 2, hunting season. Saw that. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Cole Trickle always goes outside. I think they're doing it.
They're doing that.
Yeah. It's not a sequel, it's just a remake. No, it's a sequel.
Oh,
Who am I kidding?
Him coming back as an
Tom
old
Cruise, unwilling to.
Top Gun 2.
Yep.
But with cars. Just like Days of Thunder was Top Gun 1 with
it's
cars.
like, I'll give you a digger, and then I'm doing everything over again.
Brooklyn has matured in chat, said Thelma and Louise.
Takes place in the good place. It's a crossover.
Around and go like, remember when those two ladies like died when they took that jump?
Or it's defending your life to Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, they wind up in heaven and have to fucking. Just Roy 11 said Boogie Nights. I fucking watch a sequel to that.
Yeah.
Coins said The Social Reckoning. That's coming. We're gonna get to see that.
What about
it looks
Sneakers? Get those guys back together.
Good fucking pull. That was a really fucking unsung.
It's great.
So well done. Phil Alden Robinson, same guy who did
Field of Dreams.
How far you want to go back? Way back as we go with a little something like this. Hit it. Crush Groove 2. That's a personal quest. Mild Mexican says Time Bandits 2. That would have been dope.
Too much of the Sneakers cast has passed on though.
Yeah.
Who's missing?
Sidney Poitier, Redford.
Robert Redford.
Two
old guys in the cast.
I mean, River Phoenix.
Oh my God, you're right. We missed our window for that. Galaxy Quest 2 says Sean O'Sullivan Hine. Excellent poll. Yes, 1000%. I would have.
We should have had like 3 of those.
9 fucking Galaxy Quests, and yet we got 3 Clerkses. Fuck. Iron Tiger said Disorderlies 2. I'm here for it.
Fat boys are too skinny. Boomerang 2.
Boomerang 2.
We could still do that today. Eddie looks good enough.
Played. What were the Eddie Murphy movies that didn't get sequels that deserved them?
Golden Child.
Oh, excellent fucking Paul. Yes. God, I loved when I had no idea. Like, there was a time where you could go see a movie and not really know what it was going to be about and shit. And when I went to see The Golden Child, I'm just seeing it because it's an Eddie Murphy movie and we all loved Eddie Murphy and stuff. But I had no idea it was Eddie Murphy Fights the Devil. And I was so fucking excited in that theater. So much so that I still rewatch The Golden Child every year and a half and stuff. And it still works for me, man. Eddie Murphy Fighting the Devil. Give me 10 movies like that.
Finder of Lost Children.
When I was doing all the work for Hollywood Reporter, one of the producers that I worked with was the Golden Child in The Golden Child. She was a baby actress, and she grew up to do producing for Hollywood Reporter.
That's amazing.
The Golden Child was a girl?
Mm-hmm.
Probably playing a boy.
Playing a boy in the movie.
But yes, it was female in real life.
I had no idea. I love that movie. Where remember fucking at one point they're trying to escape and fucking the kid touches the ignition and Eddie Murphy, it starts the car and he looks at the kid, he goes, everything's gonna be okay. And the kid goes, I know. Oh. Oh, that movie's fucking dope. I would watch a sequel to that movie, man. And he could still fucking do that. Eddie Murphy's still fucking around and vital
and immortal.
I'd watch more of Eddie Murphy fighting the devil and shit. Just make a movie where Eddie Murphy fights Satanists and Klan members. Oh my God. Like Django Unchained meets the devil kind of thing.
Django 2.
Django 2. We're getting a Django sequel, aren't we? Isn't it Django and Zorro in development?
Yeah.
Based on a Matt Wagner comic.
Mm-hmm.
Dolomite is my name too. Oh, I love Dolomite. That was so good. The Rocketeer, Just Roy 11 says. Brilliant.
Yes.
We should have gotten 3 Rocketeer movies. And in a better world, we did.
Is that Jennifer Connelly?
Yeah.
She could still do that.
I mean, Billy Campbell's still tooling around, and so is fucking Timothy Dalton. Get them all back.
Turles YT says in chat, Kev, I was wrong earlier. There are no inhibitors in the Winter Soldier post credits. Wanda had one when she was locked up on the raft in Civil War. Trailblazer 710 says, Brother Numpsy, my dear sweet Brother Numpsy, give me the knife, please. I said, want the knife.
I'm also not even sure if that's a good movie. I just love that movie.
It doesn't matter. It's good enough. And Charles Dance plays the devil.
Who's great.
Sardo Numspa. Give me the Adjuncti dagger. The Adjuncti dagger is right up there with the Megiddo daggers, man. The only thing that could kill the fucking Antichrist and the Megiddo daggers, and the only thing that could kill the golden child was the Adjuncti dagger. The dagger. Somebody said Willow. They actually did sequelize Willow, didn't they?
Yeah, they made a show.
Yeah, Disney Plus did a show.
And they took them all away. The Shadow 2 says Black Belt, Ricky. I'm with you on that. I enjoyed the Alec Baldwin Shadow, man. Mm-hmm. So I would have watched more of that. I love fucking Lamont Cranston and the Shadow and Yinko and fucking, where were they?
Shawan Khan.
Yeah, Shawan Khan. Oh, they still ain't done that justice. You could get away with doing another Shadow. You don't even have to sequelize that one. You just do it again. I don't know why. How come they ain't doing that as a fucking series? You know what I'm saying? Set in the period, you know, fucking superhero, but not fucking overdone and shit.
I mean, there was that like brief window in time where those pulp heroes seemed to get some traction. Like they made the Phantom movie. I think maybe the same year or the year after they made the Shadow. It's like, guys, the 30s are coming back.
I hate to put this out there, but the original Shadow radio scripts and comics are public domain.
Yeah, they're public domain. So we could
just go do it.
Yeah, what are we waiting on them for? Camels and Cavs and Van Doom. I don't know how to, what is it? Kamikaze Von Doom said Dick Tracy too, co-signed. It's crazy that we never got another Dick Tracy. Like they built the world and shit. You know, just figure out how to do it a little cheaper and do it again.
You know, Warren Beatty does his pay-per-view Dick Tracy thing on Zoom every year to keep the rights.
You can see a sequel to Dick Tracy.
Yeah. If you doesn't want to see an old man in a yellow jacket, you can make it happen.
Well, shit, we could just keep doing this all night.
Man,
I guess we should stop.
Call it.
Was that all the questions?
Well, I mean, that was 3.
It was 3 kids.
Have we gone 3.5 hours?
I don't doubt it. I mean, the fucking Spider-Man section was over an hour.
We're pushing 4.
We did. Honestly, the recap of Spider-Man may have been as long as Spider-Man, 2.5 hours. It's not nearly as entertaining. But did you have a good time hanging out with us, kids, here at Fat Man Beyond? Oh my God, Lord knows I did. What a way to spend a Friday night! And now technically out here, well, back east, it's the next day. It's Saturday. And now here in Los Angeles, it's Saturday, August 1st at 12 a.m., 12:12, as a matter of fact, which means in one day, our hero turns 56. I leave double nickels behind and enter the world of 56. As my beard continues to gentrify, look at all the whites moving in, kids. So horrible. There goes the neighborhood. All the interesting things about gone. As fucking this happens. You want to watch that happen in real life, like right in front of you while I'm on a stage? Come to the Starlight Cabaret Sunday night, 8 p.m. August 2nd. I'm going to turn 56 and you're going to see it happen. And then my kid's band is going to play and you're going to watch that shit. And you're going to rock out with your cock out. But not out, because I don't want my kid to see your cock. But if you want to show it to me, I will look at it. That's my promise to you.
Kev, I want to show you my dick. Nobody wants to see your dick, buddy.
Done and done. Use that code. That's the exact code. You go, Kev, you want to see my dick? That's our secret code. And then I will say, as a code response, yes, and show away. Reveal, if you will. I've been friends with Jason Mewes for over 30 years, so I know what it's like to look at another man's dick. Haven't seen my own in fucking eons, but I'm a dick looker. That is Sunday night, 8 p.m., August 2nd at the Starlight Cabaret, kids.
How long do you and Jay imagine episodes of Jay and Silent Bob in his house will be? Will they go 4 hours long?
Never. Honestly, like Jordan's keeping them tight. Like the first one, I think, is a half an hour. I was like, does this count? And she's like, there are no rules. You fucking always say that. Why do you think it's got to be this? And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. As long as they're entertained for fucking 30 minutes straight, who gives a shit if it's 30 minutes? But, you know, no, she wouldn't let this happen.
I mean, there was once upon a time.
Let us spend 4 hours in his house. We're only allowed to spend half an hour in his house and then we get out.
Get the fuck out of his house.
Get the fuck out of his house. I got clean.
Remember when Fat Man's used to be like 35 minutes long?
Yes.
The prevailing wisdom was, we got to be short and sweet. We got to hit these news items. We got to bounce.
I remember there was one day when, well, that was back when the algorithm rewarded you for being tight. And then one day, like they started telling us like, no, man, they want people living on the platform. They don't want them to go away. So the longer it is, the better. And suddenly we were like, don't have to tell me twice.
4 hours later.
Totally. And then it's like, you know, you can't expect somebody to watch a 4-hour show, but slowly they catch up, you know. Like, we're here for you, kids. We're here to chit chat about all the things in the culture that pop, man. Did you have a good time this evening? Lord knows I did, man. If you want to thank anyone for bringing us to you this evening, it's the good folks at Ridge. Go to ridge.com, buy one of them wallets, buy the keychain, buy the charger, and enter the contest. You don't even have to buy anything to enter the contest. Look at that. Look at that. That's Ridge in action in March.
Look at that shiny slab.
Ooh, that's beautiful. That's metal, kids. You ain't getting through the airport metal detector with that in your pocket.
Nah, G.
You got to stick that in a bucket and shit. Ridge.com, kids. Join, enter in the contest. You can fucking win cars and shit. You don't even have to buy anything. That's how crazy fucking generous Ridge is. What are you waiting for? Go to ridge.com. We thank our other sponsor, the Scum and Villainy Cantina, in as much as we can't be on the air with you unless Banff Man makes it happen. And there he is, Banff Man. Busy building his dream. You want to help his dream come true? Go to scumandvillainy.com or foundingfleet.com and donate.
Own a piece of a business in the hometown of Marvel Comics coming in 2027.
That's right. They're coming. Just like DC's out here now, Marvel's
gonna right down the street.
Speaking of Marvel, second prints of Spider-Man of Days of Future Past. This is the secret stash, one of the secret stash exclusive covers. That we sold that book out, or they sold it out. You sold it out. Thank you. So Marvel put second prints out and they're in stores now. It's like a virgin cover of the Chichetto cover that took all the logos off. It's just the beautiful art of all those Marvel characters, J. Bob against the wall. And then the other cover, they took one of Camo's images from inside the book, the main artist on the book, of Spider-Man carrying J and Bob under his arms in a very familiar swing. And so that's its own cover now. So that's available. right now. Bizarro, Year None, issues 1 and 2 in stores right now. Me and Eric Carrasco wrote that, and then issue 3 is coming out very fucking soon. So I got some Marvel stuff, I got some DC stuff. And then August 19th, Spider-Man Hulk, Fire and Brimstone. Me and Andy McAlfish wrote that one, and that's coming out in stores as well. So a lot of comic book activity going on, kids. Having a good time with it, man. Like always a good time and shit. csmod.com for tickets to all live events, kids. I'm coming to your area soon. Sounds like a promise, but it's more of a threat. Jersey, I'm coming your way for the last 2 weekends of this month, man. Coming out for the signing on Saturday the 22nd, the Spider-Man Hulk signing at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, right there in Red Bank, New Jersey. Come join us. That night there'll be a screening, probably a secret screening at the theater. But then the next night or the night before that, I think it's the night before that, Friday night, because that's Saturday, I think. Friday night is when I'm doing Jaws live at Smod Castle. Come watch me play Matt Hooper and shit. I'm like, this is no boating accident. I'm working on my Matt Hooper voice.
It's nice.
The weekend after that, Super Jersey Con, the biggest Mallrats reunion in fucking history. More Mallrats that you could shake a stick at and shit. Right there in Jersey. And that weekend, I believe we're doing a watch with Kev, Coyote versus Acme.
Ooh, fun.
And the filmmaker is going to be with us and stuff. So details for that can be found at smodcastlecinemas.com. So many opportunities to come hang out with me if you're into that sort of thing, kids. Going everywhere. Going to Tulsa, Oklahoma next. Going Midwest tour after that. Tickets at csmod.com. Mark, do you have anything that you want to hoard to these fine people?
I do not, because it turns out that Star Wars Rogue One Saw Gerrera issue is sold out, apparently. I tried
fucking sellouts.
A couple of sellouts. I tried to order some back order stock for myself. It's like, we can't get it. Like, if you can't get it, man, it's sold out.
That's good news right there.
Good news.
That's a Marvel book right there.
It's a Marvel book.
We both sold out some Marvel books, son. Yeah. That has everything to do with you, the audience, man. Thank you for following us as we head into our other projects and stuff. We're not stupid. We can do the math. We know that you're out there supporting us, and that means the fucking world. It means the world that you come hung out with us all night long for like this 19-hour episode of Fat Man Beyond. As we head into our 20th hour of talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Go see Spider-Man Brand New Day, kids. Gonna be
the go
of the year. Right, and it look like it's shaping up. Going to be a record-breaking weekend and stuff. I heard from folks back east. They saw it at Marc Castle Cinemas. It's a sold-out show tonight. That's lovely. Thanks to everyone who went back there and stuff. But there ain't no show without which way? This way. Without could never get this right. No. There. That guy. Why is my finger pointing? That would it be amazing if my hand left here and then entered your frame? And people would be like, ew, they fucking broadcast right next to each other. Give it up for marvelous Marc Bernardin, my friends.
Oh, thank you, sir.
There it is, my friends. Many thanks. This is the last time you'll ever hear from a 55-year-old Kev Smith. And beyond. Next time we do this, I'm gonna be 56. I'm gonna be older, wiser, more wizened. I have smart things to say.
Hot damn.
Gotta be. Come join me on my birthday, kids. Starlight Cabaret. Tickets at csmod.com.
Yeah, go see him on his birthday, kids.
Yeah, what are you waiting for, man? It's only a day away. There it is, my friends. For Fat Man Beyond, I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time. Same fat time, same fat channel. Smodcast.com or
youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
Chef's Thwip.
Tweet.
This is from Cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,